It is episode number 8 of YAP2ASIA. Welcome back, everybody. It's good to be here. I'm Paperthin. Joining me, as usual, Sleepy, Quack, blackenBlue, and our special guest today, Mikafabs, the wonderful, the talented Mika. So we have a lot to...
That's the first time you've ever called me talented. That's the first time.
What do you mean?
Whoa.
You got to bless our tita?
Yeah,
yes,
bless the
yes,
Tita.
yes,
Yes,
bless
yeah. Of course, we have a lot to talk about. A lot has happened since the last episode. Obviously, Masters Bangkok.
Someone cast their grand final.
You know that scene when Leonardo DiCaprio was like, he points at the TV. He's like,
Yeah.
I know that guy.
That's yeah. Well, I'll talk a little bit about it later, but yeah, that was pretty cool, pretty awesome experience. So we'll go around the horn here. We'll start with Mika. What have you been up to? Tell us about what's going on in the world of Mikafabs.
I can't. I'm under NDA.
Well, she went for a run. International Women's Day run.
I did go for a women. Okay, that one's not under NDA. I did go for a Women's Day run. I did my first 10 miler. I'm pretty proud of that. My legs are not sore anymore, so that's pretty good. Yeah, and hoping to get to Korea soon. That's about all I can say right now. No, but we did finish shooting some stage 1 content, so that should be coming out really soon.
So, yeah, for people who might not know, Mika, you're involved a lot in the content for Pacific, right?
Yes.
Yes.
I
would you be willing to explain a little bit?
I don't broadcast it a lot because I feel like there's really no need to, but I do produce a lot of the content that is on the Pacific YouTube channel. For example, like the Homegrown series. I wrote like majority of those episodes, some of the trailers as well, like, all of the stuff that we have. The night market episodes, as you would know, Clinton,
Yes.
are also under my, like, my work. So yeah, I work with Core A, who handles a lot of the Pacific content. So that's what we've been up to. Like after landing from Masters Bangkok, actually even during Masters Bangkok, we did a lot of the content there too. There was one, the CGRS one. I was quite proud of that one.
Good.
I was so proud of
funny.
that one because, like, we got to shoot with Pikla,
Yes.
or I should call him Nongkla, right? Yeah, no, we got to shoot with him. He was my goat, by the way. He is such a trooper, and this day was the most stressful day of my life, but he just made it so much better because he had every right to complain that everything was taking too long or whatever, but he did not. So thank you, Kapungka.
It's my boy.
He's a
Yeah,
good kid. Yeah,
I know.
yeah.
My goat.
Excellent. Awesome. Well,
Actually,
go ahead.
sorry, just a quick note. You can call him Nongkla, but what they do in Thailand is call him Nong Pikla.
Nong Pikla.
So it's a mix of both. P is for people who are older, generally. Nong is for younger. But because they want to respect him as like this CGRS guy,
Of
they
the
call
scene.
him
Still Nong
Nong
Pikla.
because they're younger, but Pikla still because he's the goat.
Yeah.
There you go. Does that count as my did you know? No, that doesn't.
No. You're not
getting off that easy here.
All right.
It was a good try. Appreciate the attempt. Let's go over to
Mika if she's got any hints that she can give about the upcoming content.
Any teasers?
Oh.
Any like elevators or
there's a big table.
There's a table.
There's a big
I
table.
know all about tables
Yeah.
from my team.
You got to be
Yep,
excited.
yep.
You got to be excited about that.
Okay.
Is Alex, on that table, hitting that table?
I don't want to
We'll have
hit.
wait
I
and
don't
see.
want to see him just hit the table. I want to see him leg drop through it like WWE. style.
It's like,
Imagine though.
We gotta get him like on top of like a cage, like
Yeah.
someone to sell him and just like blast through one of them. It'd be
Choke
great.
slam one of the boys. Through it.
Yeah.
slam one of the boys.
Pacific, please. The fans want to see this.
Yeah. We're just slowly becoming professional wrestling.
This is-
All right. Go ahead.
Wait, I can technically take a sip from this mug, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay,
Yeah.
I can because
Yeah,
it's like,
And we don't care.
Sweet.
Nobody cares. All right, Black and Blue, what's up, my man? How you doing?
Good. I have, for the first time, come up on this show clean shaven. For the first time, I've gotten my face shaven at the barber, and I don't know why I've been skipping out on it all this time. I used to just
Ooh,
shave
wait,
it
really?
myself, but I've never been this clean shaven since I spawned,
Wow.
Was it like
Can you
just-
show,
what-
show us? Show us.
You spawned?
Yeah, dude. Like bare skin, baby's butt. Like it was.
Did you get
so-
the straight razor shave?
Yes, yes.
Oh, yeah.
all the
Yeah.
way
Whoa.
with everything.
I do get
Oh.
those on my head sometime, actually. Like I'll go to like the barber and
The razor.
he's
your
always
head?
yeah.
Oh,
And he's
wow.
always the barber I go to is always super excited to do it because I'm the only person that
wants to do it.
wants to do it in Korea. Like most men here aren't bald. So
Right.
like he took a ton of pictures. Like he's got pictures of me up on his wall.
Yeah.
Like because he's so excited that I come in and like let him shave my head sometimes.
I-
But it's really creepy because he's got like blue like Dexter gloves on while he does
Ooh.
it. And I'm
Oh,
just like, and he's got like a
oh.
knife in his hand. I'm like, oh my god.
And
He's
now he
about
has
to-
pictures of you.
Yeah.
And he's
The
got
complete
pictures of me.
set.
He's about to Sweeney Todd you,
Yeah, dude. Yes.
Damn.
Exactly. Well, congrats on the face shave, I guess.
Yeah. I'm not sure if you guys ever watched the show Community, but there's an episode there where they talk about like, oh, this is my first time getting a shave at the barber, and I was thinking of that while I was getting the shave at the
Is
barber.
this with
like,
Pierce and Jeff?
with Pierce and Jeff,
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
like
I
they
love
were
that
episode.
bonding. I was like, why didn't I ever do this sooner?
Nice.
It's true.
Yeah,
It's
promote
smart.
That's
Promoted.
All
you
right.
and Clinton. At the
Yeah.
barbers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could go together,
We
Black
should
and
get,
Blue.
a shave.
Content
Yeah,
right there. Easy.
Yeah, actually, yeah, we could.
Workshop.
could do it.
Little podcast
Let's-
episode.
I'll come down to Manila. We'll fly Jondi in, and we'll make some content. Yeah.
Let's get a shave.
All right, very good. Quackers, my man,
Ooh.
what is going
Um,
on in your neck of the woods?
Nothing too interesting, actually. I mean, just personal matters, waiting on visa stuff. Enjoying Masters Bangkok mostly. I think that's
Yeah.
a pretty big one.
Did you go to? You went to Thailand, didn't you?
Yeah. I mean, I was there for mixed reasons because my girlfriend's Thai, but also, yeah, dropped by one of the. What was that?
Just
I mean,
uh,
kissy face.
Yeah,
auditory
soundboard.
representation of
Thank you. Yeah, you saw me
I
there,
kept
Sneaky.
I
Yes.
kept asking Quack if he wanted to hang out, and I was like,
Oh yeah, I
"You
can
can
turn
bring
it
me.
down.
You have to bring me." I'm like, I mean, like we all hang out. I may.
Yeah, I'll third
Right.
wheel that date. Like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I was having like some personal time, but then also like a day aside just to meet everyone over at Masters
Yeah.
Bangkok. So that was really nice. And for those who don't know, I mean, my girlfriend actually, she does cast for like some of the Game Changers things, and she does also work at one of the esports companies in Thailand. So her company was actually handling one of the side booths. I think it was the 1v1, the photo booth stuff at the
Oh.
lobby outside.
nice.
So like when we drop by there, it's like all her coworkers, everyone's coming up to say hi. So it's like a nice, like Southeast Asia, everyone knows each other, kind of like family, creating like the largest VCT VALORANT SEA family ever.
Nice, very good. That's
Oh,
awesome. Very wholesome. All right, and finally, Sleepy.
Yes, sir.
I saw you in Bangkok, so I know you were
Yes.
there.
Yes.
What has been up with you?
Yeah, so Bangkok was nice. Went back, just chilled and got back to work, some work stuff, but all the while, I'm having this massive like neck pain, dude. Do you guys have
Ooh.
any advice? I feel like I need to get something done with
Oh.
this.
What is this in relation to? What have you done to yourself?
I have no idea. It's just there.
Is
So-
it
Office
like wait?
syndrome?
So I actually do have some neck pain stuff
Okay.
that I go through. So mine is because my posture's horrible,
Right.
and so it's like near the base of the skull, right? It's like it kind of starts like there and works its way up and like
Yeah,
claws its way around your head. So so what that is it's the muscles in your neck.
Okay.
So obviously like stretching and like standing against what I do is like I stand against a wall and I put my my butt and my shoulders like flat against the wall.
Yeah.
And then I do some like arm stretches and
Okay.
stuff that does help. But you can like another thing I do is I get injections sometimes in the back
Oh.
of my neck. Yeah. It like helps with the muscle
Yeah.
tension and stuff.
Those are
so-
technically steroids.
No, this is non-steroidal. I make sure to get the non-steroidal one. I'm like, check out these guys.
Oh, you actually got some
Some guns right there, bro.
Oh yeah, you have a license for those, sir. Oh my god.
That's all left over from when I used to care about exercising. These days I just go for walks.
No, guns are illegal in Korea.
Yeah, they are. Don't tell anyone. It's a secret.
Well, I mean, also, Sleepy, you were in Thailand. You didn't get a Thai massage, like.
I think that might have been what triggered this, because there was one time I did get a massage, and then the auntie was like pushing so freaking hard. I was like, every time she, like, pushes, you know.
And they like walk on your back and stuff. It's like,
no,
oh
they
my
don't.
God.
They don't do that.
Oh, they don't do
just
that there.
Press
Is that,
like
I don't know.
really hard. So
gotta
maybe
find
it
it
was
right
that.
Okay.
Thanks for bringing that up, Quack, and thanks for the advice, Clint. I'll take it.
Yeah.
My advice would be get Cellen Pass.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
yeah.
Would you want
Dude,
some? I
I-
have some here.
You're actually wearing them right now.
Okay,
We literally have
DHL it
the warmth
over,
patch.
Mika. I need
So-
that.
Oh yeah. The patches help too. Yeah, I have some of those that I put on
Thank you,
that
thank
do
you.
really help.
No, the only Korean I know is ming 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 ming.
Quintana.
Kenchana.
Ming, ming, ming.
I say,
Daijoubu.
okay, there's this really funny incident where a lot of like the we were with Kevin Exurit
wait.
and a
We'll
lot
give
of the
them
Indonesian / Filipino
opportunity here.
influencers were in the lounge,
Uh-huh.
and we were trying to do like a group TikTok of that Gwenchana ding 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 ding.
Yeah.
And then I think it was that time where T1 won against EDG. And we I think we didn't know that the press conference was starting, and EDG was like kind of emotional.
Mhm.
So there is a chance that during the press conference you might have heard over very emotional and EDG Gwenchana ding 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 ding.
Just not reading the room at all.
It was like not reading in her room. It's like oh.
So obviously everybody's doing well, things are fun. I want to talk a little bit about the perspective of like working the event in Bangkok and how all that went. So Mika, you were there working as an
You were there
interviewer for the
too.
event. I was there, yes. But
The
I want
grand
to know, you're the
finals
guest.
caster.
Shush,
Oh my god.
He's the host now. He actually gets to tell Mika to
I
shut.
know.
Look
Yeah,
at
yeah.
me, Mika. Look at him.
This is my
He
turn.
is the
I'm the
host
host.
now.
That's right.
I'm the host now.
Usually I have to suffer through Mika telling me what to do. My turn. No. So Mika, how was the event for you? How did everything go?
I loved it. I love being in Bangkok, and I just love that. It's what we were talking about earlier. It just felt like one big family. All of the friends that you haven't seen or even like got to meet at all, you finally get to meet at that event, because Southeast Asia has waited so long for an event like this. So it was so fun to get to be there, and especially like since of course some from the VCT PH crew came over. I was so happy to finally be there. With fellow Filipinos, and we could like meme and like do weird Filipino shit. And stuff.
Give us an example of what is that? What are some of those
Weird.
weird
What
Filipino
exactly?
shit?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, when we do see each other, and this goes for everybody, okay? It's not just like Vil or Terror. It's just like any other Filipino. We shout out, "Oi, Philippines, Philippines!" and they will respond in kind. There was one time where we saw a group of Filipinos who were, it was I think it was the grand finals game actually, and they recognized Vil and Terror, and they're like, "Oi, Philippines!" And we turned around and we shouted, "Philippines!" And there was like this group of like about 10 Filipinos just shouting, "Philippines! Philippines!" And everybody around us was like, "What the fuck is going on?" Yeah.
Oh my god, we got the video.
Amika.
I feel like I do have to explain the mano po, which is what we do in the Philippines. It's actually for like very, very old people. Like this is how you greet like your grandmothers or your grandfathers, and you take their hand and you just kind of like do this, and you say mano po. It's like kind of like respect and stuff, instead of like doing like a little light kiss or a hug. You usually go
Right.
mano po.
It's like if other cultures bow or something, you take the hand, you do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
So,
we
so
actually do
I
that
thought
too
second
here.
that.
Yeah,
We
right.
actually do that here too
Really?
in
Like
Salam
Indonesia,
or
but it's
something?
more like I feel like it's more of a Muslim thing because it's a
Yeah.
Muslim majority country, so we do that
Mm.
too. And I saw that I was like, hey, that's a fellow
Oh,
Southeast Asian with the same culture
the
right there.
connection.
You guys share similar words as well, like Tagalog
We
and
do.
Bahasa a
Yeah.
little
We
bit.
do, yeah.
Yeah.
When I'm in like Jakarta or anywhere in Indonesia, actually, I close my eyes and I almost feel like I'm in the Philippines.
Oh,
I just
nice.
didn't catch what they were saying.
Yeah, the
So it almost sounds like
traffic, the pollution.
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. You know, the noise, everything. So it's like if somebody were to speak to me in like Bahasa Indonesia, I'd almost reply with like ano or like a what, huh? Like I didn't catch what you were saying. Can you say it
Nice.
again?
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice. Very good. So yeah, it was a lot of fun, right? I guess I was there, so I'll talk
You
a little
guess.
bit about it.
You
I guess you were.
I
Yeah.
guess
I
I
mean,
was there.
you were just casting the grand finals, you know, the big thing. So,
Yeah.
Big deal.
But overall, no, it was a really fun event. I knew from the get-go it was going to be a banger because I've worked PUBG events in Thailand before, and the fans are freaking incredible. They're so passionate, they're so loud. You know, they're there to just support whoever they're going to support for whatever reason. And they're nuts when it comes to just the energy they bring. And they're also super kind, super welcoming. Everybody's so nice. I got a ton of great gifts. I'll show off one that I got. This is the world's biggest inhaler. No,
You have like a regular one for reference.
yeah. So actually, no. On the inside, so it's got the elephant pants.
Oh, nice.
So this was a gift from the Thai casters. Actually, gave this to me. Since a lot of us do PUBG and Valorant, we've known each other for a bit.
you gotta wear 'em.
Yeah, I will. They're super comfortable, dude. I love elephant pants. I have like 3 pairs now.
Me
They're
too.
so good. I gotta open this. Oh, here we go. Okay, just
Unboxing.
on the floor, whatever. Yeah.
ASMR.
All right. So these are green. I didn't expect this. I thought most of them are like black and white.
Yeah,
These are green.
it's usually white and black.
And they, oh my god, they smell like the inhalers.
The complete package.
Yeah, these are super nice. Oh, the fabric's really soft, actually. So these will be my new pajama pants, basically.
Mhm.
And then it did come with some inhalers too. That came on the inside.
Regular
many?
size inhalers.
How many inhalers did it
Well,
come
it
with?
came with 3.
Wow.
So
Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
so got a bunch of those. So that's super cool. That was a really nice gift. I got gifts from other fans. A lot of like
Zephyrs.
Oh, there
people
you go.
wanted. Yep, there it is. Yeah. So Zophirs, who handed it off to me, along with a couple of the other casters, were there. So super nice. Got to meet Terar and Vil, who were super cool. A lot of people that I don't normally get to see. And yeah, anytime that I would step outside, it was a bit of a madhouse. People wanting to take pictures and stuff. So it was pretty fun. And obviously, yeah, the grand finals, got to cast that. That was super cool. Very honored to do that. Especially in front of, the Pacific crowd, right? The Pacific hometown.
With a Pacific win
fans.
too.
With a
Oh.
Pacific win.
Sure.
Which I didn't think was going to happen. Not that we talked about
It's okay.
it, right?
You can say it.
Oh, we did
Even
talk
the way
about
it went, right? I mean, like G2
Yeah.
had a real lead there, and
Yeah.
there I think it was like the third map where I was kind of like, this is done,
Right.
we're done. But
Even before that,
I
yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
we did
Yeah.
have
The
our
first-
tier list before the event
We
happened.
did.
None of
Yeah.
us
But-
had T1 that.
We did clarify that we
Yeah.
thought just about any team at the event could actually
Correct.
win.
Yeah.
Right? Like that was the big thing for me. It was like really hard to rank that event coming into it. That's why we probably
Plus,
spent
yeah.
20 minutes waffling about who who
We're
to
also
put where.
only like basing that off of what we had just seen from Pacific Kickoff, so it's not too much to
true.
go off of. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's just like
But it
it
was-
really felt like it. EDG knocked them down a little back end, but
Yeah.
Our
Reaction.
It's so canon, huh?
Oh,
This thing.
Yeah.
This
now it's
video-
canon.
This video is part of the reason why fans think there's like a script to the whole event. You know, like, you guys planned it. You knew it was gonna happen.
I mean,
We can thank our content team in Pacific for that.
yep.
Clearly the script writers. But yeah, it was awesome. I mean, it was, it's weird. Like I don't even remember most of that cast because it just sort of it was so crazy. Like the games got so insane, they were so wild. I don't remember a lot of what I said or what happened. Like
Did
it's all
you-
just
Just
gone.
blew past. Did you
Well,
feel any pressure?
no. I don't usually. I almost never get nervous or and I was mega prepared for this. Like I think part of it is just I purposely this event didn't go out much. I didn't do much. I spent a lot of time in the VOD dungeon. And I think that actually probably made the biggest difference in terms of like me not being nervous or anything like that is because I felt really well prepared. I felt really confident. I was very like I didn't have time to be nervous. I was so focused and just trying to get in there
Locked
and
in. You were locked in.
yeah, I was locked
Locked
in.
in.
Yeah.
When
How-
did you guys like find out the
Yeah, same
rotation?
question.
Because I just remember checking it and then seeing your names there. And I was walking in, and the first person I saw was Seth. So I was like, eh.
I was just saying.
But I wasn't there like the moment where I just actually decided.
Did he
Yeah.
know at the time?
Yeah. No, he did because I was like,
That would've been
and he was
awkward.
like,
Yeah,
Download.
What are you talking
is
about?
Mika today?
he would probably
The
think like,
whole-
oh, Mika's just being weird again or something.
So we found out, I want to say the morning before the like quarterfinals, before the playoffs,
Oh.
Hmm.
I think. And they pulled us aside and told us. So yeah, we were pretty jazzed, obviously. But yeah, I mean, it was just I don't even know. It was
Was it-
very surreal.
Was
It
it
was-
something that you thought about before coming into like
Yeah.
the playoffs and all that? You guys were wondering about like who's gonna get to do finals?
We were hoping. I mean, obviously because it was in Pacific in particular, like we really wanted to do a good job, represent the region, really showcase, not just the players but the talent we have and
Yeah.
everything, and
It's-
I think we did a good job with that. I do the weird thing is one thing I distinctly remember was Laz was co-streaming like right below us, and so I would like kind of lean over the rail and yell at him and like talk to him while he was streaming like in between maps. And what I remember after the split, I went and I looked over and he looked up at me and he goes, crazy, and I go, yeah, bye.
That is
Right.
And then I got yelled at because apparently you could see me on the analyst
like-
desk camera.
Oh.
Oh
So,
man.
Yeah, I
love
remember
it.
that when I was doing coaches interviews, it's like that spot is literally like right underneath, right? And I
underneath
think
the caster desk, yeah.
yeah. So like for the first round of like coaches interviews, I think like Mimi was like literally standing like on the edge, and then they're like, can you not stand there? You look like
Yeah.
you're just like she's just like here
Just
watching the
being
interviews,
Judging
lording
you.
over everyone.
Yeah. No, it was cool. I mean, yeah, it was truly something I'll never forget. I mean,
I-
the fans
yeah.
were so freaking loud.
Gotta
Like,
say,
I
I
mean,
mean, I
You
feel
could
like
hear it. Yeah.
like in the whole stadium, but also just the fact that maybe you guys found out that you were doing grand finals a little bit earlier. I think the fans were the last to find out.
Yeah.
'Cause it
No,
was
but
just
they kind of knew ahead of time through
Little
process
bit.
of elimination, right? They were
if
like,
you
"Hey,
paid attention, then yes. But
you're
for me, I was
casting
like,
gay."
yeah, I was thinking about it, but I was like, it's not announced, so I don't know like if it's true or not. I was just
Yeah.
wondering about it.
Yeah,
Tweeted it
your
out.
Pacific fans really, really wanted
Yeah,
this for
man.
you guys as well, which is like really heartwarming
This is-
too, right?
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
long, and then
Yeah.
just on behalf of everyone, I really think you guys like knocked it out of the park. You and Seth both like just did such a good job.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
Yeah,
It
congrats,
was,
sir.
yeah, it was cool. It was, yeah, it's always gonna have a special place in my heart. I mean, every time I go to Bangkok, I'm gonna be thinking about that. It's super cool. Seth killed it. We were both just locked in. We didn't talk a lot, like in between. We just sort of did it. I don't even like.
Telepathically communicated.
Yeah,
each other.
it was weird. Like
You're
it
locked
was. Yeah. I mean, I think he and I we got in a good groove during the event, and throughout the year, and so I think that helps. Like we don't have to talk a lot about the cast itself. Like we kind of just know, and so it just went, and it was really cool. I mean, it's
how long have you guys been casting together?
Since First Strike Korea. So that
Wow.
was what, December 2020, November 2020.
5 years, yeah.
Yeah.
Just about.
Four
Four
years,
plus.
a little.
4
4+ years.
One
So
of the
this was
longest
cool.
standing casting tandems.
Yep.
So far.
Okay.
With First Strike Korea, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be
when's the
honest.
wedding?
What'd you say?
So when's the wedding?
When's the wedding?
Yeah.
He keeps rejecting me.
Look, I was just gonna say, I can't relate because I was at the arena when watching grand finals, so I did not hear any English. All I hear is kapom, which is
Okay,
podcasters.
yeah.
So I'm gonna have to rewatch, but I'm sure you
Same,
guys did a great
Same.
job.
I did
so-
though. I rewatched it on the flight back.
You did. Nice.
Because I was like, because it was so hype, right? It was such a
Me
hype
too,
grand
yeah.
finals. I wanted to, relive it.
Yeah.
So I did watch it on the flight back, and it was really good. But yeah, you're right, because like the energy in the arena, the stage was like,
baby.
you know how like there was like a group, there's like a portion of the crowd that was like G2, and then there's another side that would retort T1.
Yeah,
It was so fun. It was so fun to be a
So
part
fun.
of that crowd.
Dude,
It really.
there was this one guy who's super excited and passionate about cheering for T1. He brought flags and stuff. And at the end, when T1 finally closed out the round, he stood up, screamed the top of his lungs, and he freaking cried and just,
Oh my
he's
gosh.
super
Broke
just
down.
relieved, I guess. And we found out, we chatted with him because Yinsu was there, and she was like, hey, do you want a sticker? Because, she's giving out these Boaster Chill Guy stickers. And then he told us he's actually from Vietnam. And
Wow.
so
Wow.
that's the type of passion we're talking about here. He flew down from Vietnam. He was just sitting there cheering, screaming, and when T1 actually won, he cried with the T1 victory.
Oh
so
my
like, we're all complicit.
that
god.
was such an experience. It's crazy.
Wow.
There were a couple fans who attend Pacific a lot who aren't from
Yeah,
Asia.
yeah.
That were there, and I know they were crying too. So like it was really emotional. I mean, like when right after T1, when I knew they were gonna win, like when it was that 4v1, right? Jog's the only one left. And, and I actually I just stopped watching the game and I just turned around and looked at the stage because I just wanted to kind of take that moment in. And like seeing Buzz and Stacks hug like that was special. That was special.
It almost feels like both you and Seth like came up. I mean, not came up, but like you followed through their whole journey ever since First Strike
from the start.
So like being able to see that payoff for the grand final for you and Seth to like go through that whole journey with them there's something magical about that.
Yeah,
So
it was really special. Yeah, it was really serendipitous. Yeah, it was. Because we casted their first. Well, Buzz wasn't on Vision Strikers then.
Yeah,
I don't think
C9.
when they won First Strike. Yeah, he was on C9. But we casted that first, match where both of them were in there, and we've been casting them the whole time. And so, for them to do that was pretty incredible. Yeah, and I'm really happy for like Sylvan as well. Like he's just been this journeyman controller player.
1v5.
Yeah. Freaking 1v5 in there. They benched him. He comes back. He plays out of his mind. He was really playing well. Izu's a cool story because he's just like kind of this player that everyone had their eyes on as like a potential superstar. And he played really, really well throughout the tournament. For me, he was who I voted for the MVP for the tournament. Even though Meteor won, which is also well deserved, but Izu was actually my MVP. And it was super, super cool. I mean, to see these guys finally get it done, in front of a home crowd, in front of basically a home crowd was pretty incredible. So yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
There are a lot of like great moments in the final, and a lot of people were like saying it's one of the best, if not the best, just because like you were saying, Clinton, how like you knew that they were going to win at the very end, but I actually wasn't sure, just because like Jaw 1v4 them so many times, right? So like even at the end I was like, oh my god, wait, hold on, this can't happen again. And I was so in the moment. I'm like, if this happens one more time.
And they've
But
already done overtime before as well.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it's like that's what made it so exciting. Every single round, you just didn't know, and literally everybody was on the edge of their seat, and it was so funny because I was watching on the side, right, and I was actually next to a bunch of rioters, and like maybe it was like a score was like 10-10. They're like, no, can't be. I need to be impartial. No, it's okay, it's okay. And as the overtime started going on, they were kind of like, you kind of saw them shaking. You kind of saw them with like tears in their eyes already, and they're like, oh. And then at the very end, like everybody just started jumping and just lost all composure because that's how much it meant to everybody.
Yeah. It was hard not to just lose my mind about them winning, like just to forego being a caster for a moment and being a fan.
Jump up and down, throw
Yeah,
your headset in the air or something.
but I didn't. I kept it cool. But yeah, it was super fun.
Professional.
Yeah, I tried.
That's what. See, I wasn't working grand finals, so I got to drop everything.
Yeah. Everyone in the talent team are probably happy they're not working grand finals. Right?
I wanted to live it.
Yeah, there was one day when Seth and I weren't working and DRX was playing, and we went and the Pacific content team mic'd us up, and I think it was the match that DRX lost.
No.
And I don't think they could play any of that.
We gotta go grab that unreleased footage for us.
Please.
Seth and I think half of the words that Seth and I said.
How much,
were the F-
Mika?
the
How
F
much?
word.
Oh no. That might be Leia's team, but now
It
that I
is
know
Leia's
it
team.
exists,
It is.
now that I know
It
it
was Leia.
exists, I
Yeah,
will find that. I will
You
find
should
it.
have mic'd them up for the grand finals too. Then, if that was the case, Would've been
Yeah.
so
Well, they
nice.
kind of did. They recorded it, right? With
Well,
they were recording like us at the end. Like I really actually a huge shout out to Leia, the content team, because they've been filming like our caster desks.
Yes.
For like
I saw
the
that.
big moments and stuff, and that's super freaking cool and like really nice, and like it gives a lot of exposure, not just to me and the casters, but to like the region and like all that good stuff. It's like
Or even
the
just
hype
to be
and the
able to see
energy.
your emotion in those moments.
Yeah. I almost cried. I'm not gonna lie. Like there was a moment where like when Seth was kind of doing his thing and I'm looking at the players and I'm just like, hold it together. Oh my god. Can't cry on camera. I can't do it right now. But yeah, it was
This
insane.
one. This video.
Yeah,
right
yeah.
here.
This is it. Yeah. So
Hold it,
Seth
hold
is doing.
it.
You
Don't
can
cry,
see my
don't cry.
smile there. That's me holding it in right there. And then I have to lose my mind. Then I just have to go crazy. And the first thing I talked about was buzz and stacks because I thought that was kind of the most important part of all of that. So yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, it was. So okay, let's jump in. Let's. The event was amazing. I think we covered
probably
that.
Before we
No.
move on, I have to ask you, how
What?
good was your sleep that night after?
Not good.
No sleep at all.
What time was your flight the next morning? Is the
Well,
question.
no, I flew out at night. My flight was
Oh.
actually like super late.
Smart, man.
I don't like flying in the mornings after events. I usually
Nobody
request
does.
later fights if possible. So mine was at like 11 p.m. or 11:30 p.m.
nice.
or something.
Oh,
Night
you
flight.
lucky
That's
duck.
good.
So I got to sleep in a bit. So I slept okay. But like I didn't sleep great because I was so like
Adrenaline.
jazzed. Yeah, the adrenaline
Yeah.
is still like, and so like, and then I had a really nice Pansy's flight was late too, and she and I just hung out in the hotel lobby and talked for quite a while. So it was
Nice.
really nice.
Speaking of Pansy, to derail it again, he even commented. There was this Reddit post where they announced the talent poster of you guys on, and she even commented on it because the caption was, "And we have Pansy, and her second caster slot has been as volatile as the second Red Bull F1 seat." And she even,
I feel so bad for
commented
her,
and
man.
quoted that in the Reddit post as well, that it had her crackling up. Yeah, Ender did well with her as well.
He
as a
did.
pair.
No, he's good. He's
his
super
first.
knowledgeable. Yeah.
That was his first global.
Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't
Yeah.
I didn't realize it because like he did game changers and
Yeah.
I kind of
Oh, yeah.
just assumed that he was he already had done one, but he was I remember talking to him before and he was like, "This is my first global event," and I'm like, "What? Really?" But he killed
He's
it.
great. He's great. He's really great to work with. Super nice dude too. He casted with us at the LCQ in what was that 2021?
Oh yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's a good dude. I mean, everybody that works the show is great.
We can't forget about Jen.
Yeah, Jen was there. We should
My
talk
goat.
about that.
My goat.
She's so fucking funny. She just
is.
she cracked like when she was doing the spicy
that
food
cool?
thing with Tens.
ate it?
Like
Yeah.
and she ate it. And like there was that moment where she had a big piece of it in her mouth, and she just was like she had
Just like,
Just saw that,
dying.
yeah.
Or she
she,
Oh
said,
my god.
she gave it to me behind the scenes. Like after
was
that,
nice.
she was like, "You want to try it?" And I'm like, "Okay, you ate it. I'll eat it too." It was pretty spicy because it was
What
like
was it? Like
it
a
was
chili?
sour mango with chili, like mala peppers all
Yeah,
over.
mango salad.
Oh.
Yeah, it was quite spicy.
Yeah, love it.
and happy endings. Nice.
Hmm.
I mean, like, okay,
She didn't know.
let's get this straight.
No.
Only Jen can get away with something like that.
Yeah.
Only Jen can get away with
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yep. She's just so funny. She does great with the interviews, and
She is amazing.
it was good to have her
She's
there.
fantastic.
Yeah, she's
I
fantastic.
remember how we were kind of helping Isara, who was rather new at like all of this, right? He was very overwhelmed, and Jen was like helping and giving pointers, and everything that she was saying was like, man, I never even thought about that, like how she explained lining up the translation like from Korean to English so that there's a pattern and so that your interviewee doesn't lose attention or like doesn't his attention doesn't wander away or whatever, and so that you still have a grasp of the interview, like the timing of that. I'm like, I didn't even I didn't even realize that that's something that you had to take note of, and how she was like coaching him and wording the translation so that you didn't have to, you could still keep up with the flow of the interview itself and not feel like it was lagging or being dull. So that was she is amazing. She is my goat. She is a pro. Everybody loves her.
100%. Yep.
I mean, well, I'm straight as an arrow, but when I saw Izara on the stage, I was like, that dude looked clean. You know what I'm saying?
By the way, Isara is he's a very, very nice guy.
Super.
There was one day, so for those who might not know, he actually used to work at Riot as a community manager, right? There was one day wherein he took us to his family is quite well connected in Thailand, not even in Bangkok, in Thailand. So it took us to his house, his property, his plot of land, mansion
in Bangkok.
In Bangkok. It was
Homestead?
a little outside. So I was with some global people. I was with Phil as well. I was with Ben, and Kaylin, John Locke was there too. And we went to his place, and he toured us around his like wonderful, beautiful place. And he was like, "Oh, here are the water buffaloes." I was like, "You have water buffaloes?"
Wow.
Yeah, and there are pictures of this, and I was like, "Oh, so like, do they tend to like the farm or something?" Because like in the Philippines, if you have a water buffalo, if you have a carabao,
Yeah.
you have a farm, and they're like, "No, they're just there." And I never in my life have wanted to be a water buffalo so bad. and to just be in that farm, be fed all day. And when they heard his voice, the water buffaloes like came out as if they were like,
What?
"Hey, it's Dad. He's here."
Oh my God.
Disney Prince.
Those
Yeah,
animals
really.
are pretty
For
smart.
water buffaloes.
Those are smart animals.
Dang.
It was quite an experience, and I'm like, I did not know this side of you. But yeah, he's incredible. His family is also has like a history with like Buddhist monks too. So he shared those stories with us, and it was really special. It was really amazing. And he fed us mango sticky rice, of course.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Konyo Mamwang.
That sounds really fun. Dang.
We're getting lots
All right.
of lore this episode. I love
Yeah,
it.
no kidding.
Yeah,
This is
lots
just
of-
a lore dump
Lots of
episode,
things
for
happen
sure.
in Bangkok.
Yeah, no kidding. It was super cool. All right, well let's put the lore aside for a minute and
Yeah.
talk a little bit about the results of the tournament itself. T1 wins, best team in Korea, best team in the world, obviously.
Best region in the world right now.
Yep, best region in the world, no doubt. And like Buzz had that moment where he stood up and he's like, "Who's the best team in Korea now?" Which is iconic.
That was
What a moment from him. But I want to talk a little bit about T1 in general. So Black and Blue, I want to go with you. Like, what happened here? Like, what were you thinking throughout this event as everything unfolded?
I mean, it only seemed like, as I mentioned a while ago, kind of like vindication, right? For the long journey that especially Stacks and Buzz took. And as you mentioned, them hugging things out afterwards was just so poetic in the way that things ended up turning out. And I love how the grand final, as the stakes got higher, the games got closer, right? The opening match was like 13-5 and then 13-8 or 9. Then everything from then on after just kept getting closer and closer. We had 2 overtimes for the last 2 maps. And I think it's kind of safe to say at this point that Meteor might just be the greatest Korean player we've had so far in the entirety of the VCT. 2 Masters on both of the teams from Pacific that did win a Masters. We don't have a champions just yet, but hopefully that comes soon. But I mean, T1, it's funny that start of the season, before even kickoff, we were kind of putting them as maybe potentially the best team in Pacific. And then Pacific happens kickoff, and they didn't maybe place as high as we thought, right? DRX obviously won that, but things flip around into this event, which is right on time as well. And it almost seemed like every single problem they had during the kickoff, they immediately were able to rectify and apply those solutions into this tournament. And we see kind of what we expected to see more of during kickoff. But if you're going to pop off, I'd rather you do it here than you kick off in the first place. So it's so poetic to see. And I was listening to the cast while I was driving for most of the series on the way to a place and on the way back. And all I could think of is, wow, it's a magical moment really for Pacific fans in general. The venue, where it is, you guys casting it, and then obviously T1 making it happen. The only thing that would have been even more poetic if it was in Korea, especially, but having the first one in SCA as well is great. And even seeing all the people, because I noticed a lot for this event, especially knowing that it is an SCA, a lot of like the content creators who maybe haven't been able to go to other global events, whether tier 1 or tier 2, especially from local casters side, they were the ones to come this time, right? You had different kind of content creators and streamers coming who normally don't get to go to maybe events in Korea or events in the West. And because it is in Southeast Asia, I noticed a lot of SEA content creators from all the different regions in SEA were finally able to attend maybe their first LAN event like this. And it was really nice to see for the community as a whole.
Masters Manila when is
That's the next.
When we get better internet.
I have a funny story. So like, of course a lot of people are like asking Masters Manila when. I got tagged in this strange tweet, right? Where it's like Masters Manila, you make it happen. So I was tagged. Apparently I'm responsible for this.
Yeah, it's your job.
So was Jessie Vash. Okay.
Yeah.
So was Yinsu.
Oh, of course, yeah. She's got tons of control over this. Yeah.
And Tarek.
Yeah.
And Leaf.
Leaf?
And Kendrick Lamar and Espa.
Kendrick Lamar.
Bro, what is this lineup?
I actually saved took a screenshot of the tweet, but yeah, that's the lineup. And I was showing it to Yinsu, and she's like, "Yeah, Mika, it's you, me, it's Tarek, it's Leaf. We're gonna make this happen."
You've officially made it. You've been in a tweet with Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
Super Bowl performing Kendrick Lamar, by the way.
Yep. That's what it's gonna be. That's Masters Manila.
It was funny that Autumn tweeted that picture of Kendrick after the whole thing, but I liked it too. I thought that was funny because there's a lot of haters out there, and I think Autumn shut a lot of them up, which is nice. Any other thoughts, Quack, T1, or any of the other teams if you want to talk about them? For the event, it was pretty nuts. It was a very close event. A lot of 2-1s, right? Like almost the whole way through. There's only like 2 2-0s or something, or 3. It was crazy.
I mean, just the whole story, honestly. I think we've talked a lot about T1 already, and T1
you can talk about DRX or somebody else if you want.
An incredible team. DRX probably will get to it, but I think G2 definitely. On the other side of that coin, you can even in some of the interviews, I think like what Fallon was crying a little bit. Like you always need to kind of feel through that. So I kind of like to humanize a lot of the players going through all this because we can focus on the winners a lot, but even someone like Meteor has his ups and downs. Like from kickoffs, remember he had that whole quote about like I forgot what it was like to have fun. I think just finding that switch and getting back into that state, and now working with his team like that. That's kind of how they're able to carry that performance through. And I mean, even just the whole thing happening. Miko was saying how like it's so hard to believe, like you're not sure if they're actually gonna make it yet. And that's kind of how I was feeling when I was there watching them playing against like EDG. And this
Yeah,
was the first time they got knocked down by EDG, you know? Like they looked so good at some point. I made a tweet, things went downhill. And then the next day in the lower bracket, lower finals, they bounced back up. And like it's through these overtimes and all these crazy things happening. And it's something to wonder about. I really wonder what their mentality is like in the heat of these moments, you know, like when you're really feeling as though like a single mistake and you could lose, but somehow they're able to still perform.
Speaking of EDG, I'm still so impressed by how they make their game plan work this well. Like this far out.
So good.
Like they still make top 3, no problem, up until they meet T1. So yeah, my hot take at the start of the year was EDG winning was not a fluke, and I'm glad to be proven right. Still,
100%.
mean,
They were
Speaking
a
of
threat
hot takes,
until the end. Yeah.
T2 was
Go
also
ahead.
mega inspired, right?
Yes. Yes.
T2 was insane.
Meeting your
Sleepy.
idols does that to you.
Your hot take. What do you got for us?
No, my hot take was that T1 is not going to be top 4 by the end of the season. Okay.
Like
All right.
Quack's face,
Early.
he can't believe it. He's like,
Let
no.
me clarify. All right. So it says here it won't be top 4 by the end of 2025.
Yeah.
So there's still some time.
Mm.
But having
Fine
said
print.
that, though, I am so glad to be proven wrong because I'm always very pessimistic when it comes to super teams. Like we rarely see super teams work, and this is probably one of the very few cases where it worked wonders because they just won like that. Like we were talking about how T1 is like the on paper the strongest team going into this kickoff, and then they qualified to Masters Bangkok, and then they won the whole damn thing. That is usually not the case with a lot of the other predictions that we've ever made in the past like 5 years of Valorant, right? So this is actually a very fun case to have. And I don't know if I can show you guys, but I did have T1 winning in my pick'ems. So
Oh,
this is still consistent with my hot take. They might drop by the end of the season, but I
Okay.
think they are.
Out of curiosity, when is this episode coming out?
in a couple
Next
days.
few days.
Probably like
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Okay,
or the day
never
after.
mind then. Because I was gonna say, like in timeout, there was an episode with Autumn. He says something very interesting, kind of related to this.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And that's all you're gonna say?
And that's all I'm gonna say. And that's all I'm gonna say.
Content to look forward to. Yeah.
Yeah. But he does
Wow.
address this and
Okay,
how
got it.
is winning a global, does that equate to being at the top of your region? So
Right.
yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
But yeah, that's
Uh,
what I have, guys. Thanks for bringing this up, Johnny. You're fully prepared for this.
I do
That's awesome.
appreciate John being on the ball with this. That's
Yeah.
good.
Mm.
Any final thoughts? Oh wait. I want to talk about Stacks a little bit.
yeah.
And his like some of the streaming
Stream?
that the players have been doing and stuff. And Stacks did quite an in-depth breakdown of what was going on, and somebody was kind enough to translate one of the kind of more important moments when he started to get a read on Split, on what G2 is doing, and how that transitioned into them eventually finding a way to break through the defender side setups that G2 had that was giving them problems. This is a great Reddit post. I think really worth taking a look at if you haven't seen this one from, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that username, but Iplon Danshim. Oh, Ilpyeon Danshim. It's a Korean. Okay, got it. It's a Korean thing. But this was like a really cool thing where he breaks down like how he was noticing based on just simple things like a smoke setup that Valen was using and how that would infer the defensive setups that they were running with. So I think this is really, really cool. I don't know if anybody's had a chance to read all this, but are there any thoughts out there?
Yeah.
Wow,
go
this is
ahead,
so
Quack,
cool.
please.
This is really like just like sorry to jump in, but just like this is Stacks versus Valen. This is like IGL versus IGL trying to outplay each other. That's super cool.
100%.
It was really cool that Stacks did this. Yeah, Quack, go ahead.
Because he's able to read like just through one smoke. I mean, I guess it's a lot of these tiny details. From there, he can kind of identify how Valen or how G2 wants to controlled it defensively, and then from there, it's I think the second paragraph that the macro game is won, Stax says, which like do you realize like how much aura that is?
Yeah,
He's basically saying he's that dude that's like, I get it now. And then
I
he figures
understand it
out the
now.
whole game. Yeah. And that's it. Like they lose a round, but through that one little thing, from there he's kind of able to call the rest of the map. That is like yeah.
And I personally don't want to underplay how much the past 5 years of playing have played a role in enabling him to be able to do this, like this specific game, because this is a lot of unconscious thoughts like coming up in the mid rounds, in the mid game, because when you notice patterns like this, it's only because you've seen it so many goddamn times in the past 5 years. And so being like, the whole story is that he's tried for 5 years and now he's finally done it. And I think this is like that one exact point where all the culmination of the past 5 years of his experience have come to like a point where, yeah, this is the point where I'm going to start winning. And so I just have to say, man, Stacks and probably the rest of the team as well, like everything they put together in the past 5 years, it just came to this one round, which is insanely poetic and very narrative worthy, Mika. Wink, wink.
I see you. I see you.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. I also just randomly want to give a shout out to Frost, the coach for Talon, on this, because he is constantly singing Stax's praises. And I think before this event, a lot of people were kind of wishy-washy about Stax as an IGL, and Frost was always like, he's the best IGL in Pacific, one of the best in the world. I don't get why everybody's like kind of down on him. Well, this is a great example of why you should not be down on him, why you shouldn't be down on himself. Last year, I don't know, I've talked about this, but I don't know if people know, Stax was like, didn't want IGL anymore. He had kind of said, I'm tired of it, and let's, so he goes over to T1, Xcurat's doing it right, but he came back to it again, and look what happened. He's really, really good at it, so really happy for him. It's a cool little story for sure.
I mean, didn't they try a period in DRX like a year back where they had somebody else try an IGL for him instead?
Yeah, I think it was Zest.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't go great.
It's never a good sign when you don't have that confidence anymore, like in a role that you should be normally excelling in. But I was always a believer ever since the mouse kiss. I was like, you got it. You got it. You got everything in the world. And I don't know. I always thought as well that Stax has been one of the better ones. And I'm not surprised that he had this kind of read against him, because he's always been, ever since the start of him playing, even before Valorant, honestly, he's always been such a great mind in the game, and the experience that he has within Valorant, I'm totally not surprised that he was able to read this. This is actually what I expect from a player of his caliber, and for him to be able to, eloquently dissect this for a kind of a, the audience, that's the more impressive part to me, the fact that he can explain it well to the rest of, his viewers, even though it's in Korean, but still, ultimately enough, that's a more impressive thing to me. The fact that he knows, or rather knows how to read the opposition in this case, that's part of the reason why I think DRX has always been good when he was on DRX and Vision Strikers before. The coach can only do so much. You can only prepare so much moving into it, that when you're actually in the game, you need that IGL to be kind of like the coach in the game itself, because you only got 2 timeouts anyways. So mid rounds, Stax has always been one of the best at that, and that's part of the reason why he was quintessential for that team. And he's part of the reason why we even play Valorant the way we do, especially early on. Vision Strikers, they wrote the book on how to play by the book.
Yeah. Well, this is like also seemingly a meta that it's weird. It's a meta that you would think suits like the DRX Vision Striker style, right? Very execute heavy, very retake heavy. But T1 isn't really playing that, right? In this event, they're playing like double duelist stuff. And even though there is quite a bit of the way in that still baked into their identity there, they're not playing that the same way as everybody else, I guess is the way I think about it. And that was really cool to see, just the unique approach that they had to this meta, and the way that they dealt with the Taeho breach shenanigans, especially going up against Jonah P and Trent, who are outrageously good at that at those roles.
It's not like a bum rush double duelist comp either. Like, you're playing double duelist sometimes, but they're not just doubly keying it into the site itself. So yeah, as you mentioned, very unique kind of play, but ultimately very clean is what I noticed. They're super clean in a lot of their rounds that they were able to win. Especially in the grand final, as things progressed throughout the, I think, entire tournament, they just had much better execution of the protocols. You can tell that they practiced.
Exactly. 100%. All right, let's talk a little bit about DRX, since we are a Pacific biased podcast.
Yes, we are.
How are we feeling about DRX now? Another 5th, 6th. Yeah, you know, that doesn't feel great in a lot of ways, but still good results again. You know, a lot of hype around this team. Maybe Mika, I want to jump to you. Like, how do we feel about DRX coming into stage 1 at Pacific? Is there a higher ceiling on this team? Is this kind of just going to be what they're doing? Is 5th, 6th all over the place again? Like, what's going on?
Oh yeah, I feel like, you know, we've barely, you know, gotten a view of the ceiling of this team. I mean, like, you know, they just got Freeing and Hyunmin in, and they qualified to Masters Bangkok. That's got to mean something, right? Mako is still like, you know, last year the whole storyline around Mako was like him getting the ropes on IGLing, and as we discussed earlier, it took Stacks like how many years to be able to find that confidence, right? Mako is still on that road, so this is a team that's still, you know, figuring out how they're going to move and fit in, and to do that and to qualify 5th and 6th, and even to take down a team like Sentinels in Bangkok, that's got to mean something. And you know, in Termi's interviews, for example, and actually even in the team interviews, like the press conferences, they were saying how they were very nervous, and that's also why I started to favor T1 a lot more. Actually, in Pacific, I kept saying this. You asked me in Pacific whether DRX or T1, I might say DRX. But you asked me because that stage does something to a player. Like that stage is transformative, right? And Stacks and Buzz, Meteor, they've been on that stage. They own that stage already. Hyunmin, Freeing, you know, maybe even Mako as like an IGL. Flashback Bane, not so much yet. They still need to build that kind of presence, that sort of muscle to be able to perform on that level. But that's why, like, Stacks, Buzz, they have that already. They've been doing it since
their
year
dues.
1. Yeah. They've been doing it since year 1, since year 0. So yeah, I feel like DRX, they have a long way to go, but it's not a bad start at all. They look very, very clean in so many of their games. So
It's
going
like,
into Pacific, good.
yeah.
Good. Yeah.
It's times like these though, I really feel like I wish we could speak Korean. I feel like there's something to unpack here, you know what I mean? Because like Hyunmin, Bane, Flashback, Mako, of course, as well. Like they still had really great performances in their games. Although, you know, they did place the way that they placed. And what you're talking about, Mika, definitely plays a factor as well, right? But it's like Stacks went through that journey as well. You know what I mean? Like he had his own troubles, but then somehow he overcame it. And Mako is on his way. So I can't wait to see how it all kind of continues to shape up and play out, because yeah, it's like just so much going forward right now. T1 definitely getting the confidence boost too. There's a lot to think about.
No doubt. Anybody else? Thoughts? DRX, Sleepy?
I mean, Mika summed it up pretty nicely. It's the inexperienced part of it, I feel, is the majority of DRX's problems right now. And it's like the two opposite ends of when you form a new team, new members come in. T1, they made it work. DRX, not so much. So it's literally just that, I feel. And we're so early in the season. It's still kind of hard to tell what it's going to look like going forward. So if anything, I think stage 1 is what's going to give us a bit more insight into what's really happening with all these teams, you know.
If I may, like to
go ahead.
expound a little bit more, like because we're using the term or the word like experience, and we're talking about the stage, but what that really means is, you know, for guys like Stacks, Buzz, even, they've played on this international stage. They've played against international teams before, so in that sense, like having that experience, then they have that confidence to play against, you know, opponents of that caliber. So when Stacks is doing the IGLing, he's confident in his calls. He's confident in the way that he knows, like, okay, so if he's smoking it this way, I know for sure this is probably going to be the setup that the opponent's team's trying to run. And because of that, I can call this comfortably for my team. If it's someone like Mako, though, you know, he's still just like trying to get comfortable in this IGL role. He did well in kickoff, but suddenly you're on this stage, you're playing against, Sentinels, whatever, like bigger international opponents, and you don't really feel that confidence in like, well, I kind of think he's playing the smoke. Maybe that's what he's going for. But if I make the wrong call and I lead my team to a loss, like that's gonna hurt me.
Yeah.
So that kind of mentality really like gets into your brain sometimes, and that's what experience is. You can only get rid of that by like going through these reps, by playing enough, finding that confidence, and just really leading your team.
I thought of a good analogy for this. Mika, you were telling us about how the culture in the Philippines is to greet your elderlies with that
Ooh.
thing.
Yes.
If you're not from that culture, you probably will, I don't know, bow to them, right? And
yeah.
this is kind of similar to what you're describing, like Quack. You're meeting all these people from all these different regions with different play styles.
Veterans.
You've tasted it before as stacks, so you know what it's like in the future. But for people like
Mako's going there and he's like,
Mako is like probably doesn't have as a clearer idea as much as Stacks does. That's what I think.
That is a really good analogy, actually. Yeah,
I agree. All right, very good. Any other?
Respect your elders, folks.
Yes, that's right. That's
Yes,
right.
sir.
What is the age
That's right.
difference between the two of them, by the way?
Between who?
Good question.
Between Stocks and Mako.
Stacks and
I think
Mako.
Stacks is just a little bit older, maybe a year.
a little bit, huh?
Yeah, not
Not much.
I don't know. The age is probably not so much the thing here.
Yeah,
yeah.
Stacks is just. I think he was
2 years.
2 years.
Ah.
Stacks is
Don't
2
you
years older.
know in esports, by the time you hit 24, you're a dinosaur.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Dinosaurs and meteors.
But I think there's still a lot of good years left in both of those players for sure. I mean, I think Stacks in particular, now that he's got a win as an IGL, probably can grind it out until he has to do his military service, basically. Like that's just
Has he not yet?
no.
Ah.
I don't think so.
What's
No.
the
He
maximum
hasn't.
age?
He
What's
hasn't.
the maximum age before they have to go in?
It depends.
Oh.
Oh.
It's
I
kind of like
see.
you can get it deferred, and it
Or-
depends on what you're doing in your life. Yeah.
Or you win so much and have such a huge career that you get pardoned for it.
Yep.
Well, that's-
the play.
We got to win
That's
the
the play.
Asia games then. So we need
Yes.
Valorant
Games.
in the Asia games.
Do it the
and
faker
then-
way.
Yep.
Faker way.
Yep. The faker way.
That's a
Absolutely.
high bar.
It's the right team for it.
True.
Anybody
Lord.
else that we want to cover for
Bangkok?
Bangkok?
Just one thought, actually.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Sorry. Vitality kind of under-delivered. Like, we hyped them up so much when we were doing our pick'ems, and I did believe in Durkee a lot, but
too.
it doesn't feel like they were prepared enough to face these other teams that
in
came with surprises.
in our defense, even though we put Vitality, up there, we did say, well, I initiated the idea and you guys agreed, so we did say that G2 technically had a much tougher time in their run to get there. They had to go through Sentinels
Correct.
in comparison to Vitality.
Yeah.
So we were expecting, even though Vitality might look like the better team, they didn't have as difficult of a run, and so G2 probably are going to be the better team performing well.
Correct. Yes. And this, we did talk about this too. Yes.
That was the biggest nerf maybe.
Oh.
I just felt like Vitality just was playing a more isolated style of Valorant than the other teams, and that kind of hurt them, where like they were relying on individual moments more so than a coordinated effort. I think they can fix that pretty quick. There's too much, as long as there isn't any like personal problems on that team. I don't doubt that they're going to be competing for a championship. That they don't make one grand finals this year. I'd be shocked if they don't make Masters Toronto or champions.
I still expect them to qualify. Still, I still feel like that team is going through a lot of adjustments as well. I mean, they did just, for example, Les did say that he still needs to work on a little bit of his English, get familiar with it. He did come from from Loud, so that's a big adjustment too. So yeah, I still do think that they're in like the top 3 in EMEA. So yeah.
Easily, yeah. And I think G2 as well. I'm early prediction. I'm saying G2 is winning Masters Toronto. I think they're just gonna
Yeah.
it seems they're saying a lot of the right things in those press conferences, right? Where I'm just like, okay, these guys have a good mentality, hopefully, and they can win it on North American turf. That'd be
Yeah,
cool too.
that'd be
So.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that was part of the script, right? It's like it's here, it's over here, so it's specific. So when we go over
Yeah,
to Toronto, then you guys get
someone send Leah over to Americas so she can record a React video before
Yeah.
Toronto.
For an Ascension team, though, that's pretty
Yeah,
hype.
that's
yeah.
what's
Amazing.
insane about it, right? I don't think we've touched upon this, but G2 was the only Ascension team
The most successful Ascension.
and the most successful one
I'm
so
a Trent
far.
believer. I've always been a Trent
Yeah,
believer.
Trent is
Yeah.
insanely talented.
I think
and
he's the best player overall on that team.
for sure. I mean, debatable. I like Jog.
I'm a
Well,
Jog
Jog
fan
is-
as well.
Man, God, Jog is so
Jog.
good, dude. He's
Oh, have you seen his Waylay plays?
Oh, yeah,
his
yeah,
Waylay
yeah,
plays
yeah,
are getting
his
really exciting.
He's built.
he's
for
a
Waylay.
Waylay believer
He's built
already.
for Waylay.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Like
perfect.
his Yoru was only a teaser for
Yeah.
Waylay. I feel
That's just the
like.
beginning. Yeah.
That's just the
Let-
beginning.
Waylay's his final form. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the new agent. Let's get away from Masters Bangkok. I
Okay.
think we've
Yeah.
beaten that horse. Let's move on to the new agent. It's Waylay. Is going to be our new duelist, a Thai duelist. She looks pretty interesting. There's seemingly some mixed opinions on how strong she might be or not be. What are you guys feeling about Waylay so far? Does anybody have a strong opinion? Has anybody played much Waylay? I was busy, so I haven't had too much time.
When I first watched the trailer, I forgot what movie it was. Was it The Avengers? I don't know. But all I could remember was like the quote of, "We got flying shit now."
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's very
appreciate
appropriate.
Everybody's got a gimmick.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a gimmick.
Yeah.
Dude be flying up, and I mean,
I do think she's really strong, dude. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's still like things coming up. I don't know if you guys have seen, like, people are now figuring out like there's a way to, you can bind your flex to something, and because of that you can kind of animation cancel one of the dashes
right.
and throw out a stun mid dash like before the second one.
the flex, the
Yeah.
phone thing. You mean
The phone thing. These guys got him, yeah.
What? That's a flex. Right
know,
there.
dude.
No pun
Thank you, Ryan.
intended.
Oh, let me answer the call on my flex phone.
Okay,
Ryan.
okay.
Thank you, Ryan.
Sorry, Black and Blue. Man, this guy. But yeah, that's
You
one
know
of
it
those
doubles
things.
as a wireless phone charger as well.
It does?
Yeah.
No freaking
Yeah.
way.
You can't even buy those. What? That's so good.
Damn.
Oh my god.
You're eating
Wow.
good out there, huh? Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
PH
got
True.
Go Black and Blue.
phone
Nice.
chargers.
I'm jelly. But yeah, so that's a thing. You can do it, but it's also been it's known to be a bug.
Yeah.
So apparently you can't use it in pro play. But
Yeah,
like
okay.
that does mean, like, the time between her release and like stage one, it's a little bit close.
That was
Yeah.
a big issue. I feel like a lot of like coaches brought up. I remember Kaplan was quite vocal about it. That, like, you're dealing with another map rotation, and then you have Waylay coming out, and stage one is just around the corner. It's like, how on earth are you going to prepare? And for the teams as well, they weren't able to practice because we blocked off the whole week as well for content. So they were just about
It's
to
your
practice
fault,
like
Mika.
today. It is our fault. I actually saw Cruz at the after party, and I already told him, like, I'm so sorry for what we're about to do to you. but yeah, it's a concern, right? I mean, it is part of the whole VCT ecosystem, but a lot of teams are very worried for a new agent with such different dynamics coming out within just weeks, and then you have to go to stage one. So that's also why I feel like, T1 being at the top, like, maybe not so much, because you might have Waylay coming out, and then you have Ascent and Bind going out, I believe, and it's going to be new maps coming in, or Abyss and Bind rather, so, and Ascent coming back. So yeah, lots to prep for.
Although,
Depends on
frankly,
teams.
I feel like Buzz would transition well into being a Waylay player.
Yeah. Yep.
I
No,
think it's
certain
suited.
players, they will have a knack for this types of
You have
agents.
synergy.
I mean, we can already put Forsaken down, right?
For sure.
100%.
Surely.
There's no way he's not playing it. There's just like there's like,
No
just
comment. No comment.
You think
Look,
he'd
we
be the
know
guy
he's
playing
gotta
it
rack up
over
more of those agents.
over like something? You think he'd be playing over something?
I think so. I mean, just personal opinion. This is not representative of what Paper is doing.
Leaks right now.
I think it might be better to put Forsaken or even Jing on this agent rather than something.
Or maybe even their new player. They have a new player, right? From the
Yes,
filming.
that is
Oh, you think you think Batman's gonna do Waylay?
I think he might because Batman, as we know, is pretty flexible. So we'll see. But okay, that's my opinion of who might play it. But what I think about the agent is obviously I haven't played it enough to make a difference, in my opinion. And not that I can play it at that level anyway. Washed player, haha. But seeing how it interacts with the other agents, I've seen some of the players stream this gameplay, and its abilities, the abilities from this agent is honestly not as broken as I think people see it. It's not as game breaking, I feel, because it's so high mechanic and it's so individual. It really helps yourself a lot of the times, and the abilities that help your teammates are your stun, the one that slows people, and also the ultimate, which creates like a rainbow road.
Rainbow Road.
But that kind of feels like it requires a lot of things to line up nicely, like a breach stun and then you ult, or a zoning ability like Teho's missiles and then you ult, and then it will hit. So just from a third person perspective, looking at that way, I don't think this agent might impact too much of the way people play the game, aside from the fact that individuals who are already cracked at the game will just get a boost in their ability to make plays.
Or have an option, I guess, because you can kind of draw comparisons to Neon a little bit in that sense.
A little bit.
But that's where I kind of like lose my mind a little bit as well. I'm one of the things I am thinking about a lot is how does this affect like the compositions moving forward? Will we see possibly teams running double duelists a little bit more, or just no, get out.
Let's not.
I think if there's gonna be
stop.
You're triggering Achilleos.
He's like frothing at his mouth somewhere.
I still have that picture on my phone of him after that map that Talon ran triple duelist.
Right.
And he's just got his head in his hand.
Like,
they
what
lost
am I
like 13-3
watching?
on split. It was so funny.
Yeah. So no, probably. But double
I mean,
duelist, I
Team
can see double
SMG
duelist
made it
for
happen.
sure.
Team SMG made it work
Oh,
Yeah,
SMG?
yeah.
back then.
that's different. All right, but yeah. Another thing is, picture a team like Noxian Red Force, Danby playing.
Oh yeah. Oh, man.
Ooh.
Right. So there's definitely quite a bit to watch out for, and that kind of ties into what Miko was talking about previously as well, because T1, it's like what? Yeah, I could see Buzz playing a month, maybe a month and a half, or slightly less, given content shoots and stuff. Like, do they have enough time to really try this out and work this into the way that they play? Meanwhile, teams that weren't at Bangkok, or teams that maybe dropped out a little bit earlier from Bangkok, have a little bit more time. So there's definitely something to play with here. I mean,
There's also the fact that like
evidence
does Waylay even fit the play style like of the player? Because like Danby on Waylay, sure, that might be exciting, but to be honest, I feel like Danby's Neon is still like
True,
that's still
actually.
him.
Yeah.
I actually can't I can't really picture Danby like maybe like the dash, right? Waylay's dash, but kind of like coordinating the rest of the abilities. It doesn't really fit like his style. So it depends on the players, right? Because like Waylay, like yes, the dashes are great and it's like really really fast paced and stuff, but then there are other things that I was told not to call it this, but this is a friendly.
Forbidden words.
I know
I
exactly
know.
what you mean, because
I
I
think
got the same
Voldemort.
message.
The recall is also pretty important. So yeah. So
What's the official term is to
Retract?
speed back?
to
I'm looking at the official
the
like
refract,
wording.
right? Refract.
Refract is the name of the ability, yes.
Yeah. The refract.
But the the actual like mechanic of the skill isn't actually listed. It says instantly creates a beacon of light on the floor, reactivate to speed back to your beacon as a mote of pure light. You are invulnerable as you travel it. So there isn't an official term for, but we were told not to call it recall.
Yeah, because like
Yeah.
because I would say like sure it's refract, but refract means to like bend.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not
like
not
light.
to go
Like
It's
back.
a
a
light thing.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a light thing. So but
Even locally, we were told not to call it recall as well. So not just on the global stage, or
I
like
see.
blanket, like nobody.
That'll be
Recall
my
kinda
one.
like League, though. Like in League, you recall back to base, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
But
that
they don't want it to be confused with Tracer. Is
Yeah.
really the-
Exactly.
He said it.
Thanks for saying it.
Yeah.
He said
Thanks for
I
saying it.
mean,
Right.
I'm just gonna sip from this mug.
No, but I understand what Mika is saying. Like the question is it worth implementing this agent for
I think
her
so.
one ability,
I think
which
so.
is the dash?
Yeah.
I think so.
This
And this
is-
is
yeah.
actually part of what Quack was talking about, how compositions would change.
Yeah.
I don't think necessarily it's going to affect how many people play Duelist or not. I think what's going to happen here potentially is this is an idea that I stem from a game potentially close to Mika's heart back then, and from the game that we were all trying to avoid calling it as dive compositions.
Yeah.
The only current
Yeah.
diver we have in the game is Raze. Now we finally have
Gentle.
an agent that can follow after him.
Yeah.
Right? Her, rather. And with that, what tends to happen, especially back when Raze wasn't nerfed in movement, was that it wasn't the duelists who had to adjust to that, it was the sentinels. You're going to potentially see a lot less ciphers now. You're going to see more killjoys because the turret is the only sentinel utility that could potentially halt them to some extent or be a nuisance to them in that
Yeah.
regard, which means that if they're going to be diving, if you're going to have two duelists who are diving, the only initiators you're going to have worthwhile to even have are the ones that can affect the fight at long range. So breaches could be a bit more prevalent, accompanied with the Tejos. You might see a bunch more Sovas in comparison to everything else, which you already were kind of seeing, and it's already part of the meta. And so because of the fact that Breach, Tejo, and Sova are definitely part of the meta right now in terms of initiators, I think that means Waylay swaps into this super well. Even with the Raze nerfs, you can still get very deep. Imagine this, not only can, before, yeah, you could have Jet dash on over, but there's some utility that could still hamper the Jet when you do try and dash through. Like you can dash through maybe a nano swarm, but you couldn't do that through like a slow
Sure.
orb, for example,
Yeah.
right? And on a tripwire. But with a Waylay and with Raze, you can bypass that completely. Aside from the Yoru, who could maybe bypass that, but that's kind of a more niche thing. Neon's not really a dive character, but now you have another true dive character like Raze, which means the rest of the composition will have to shift around that, both on the opposing side and on the teams trying to run that. So that's what I think could potentially change here. And if Waylay does become prevalent, I don't think it's going to be prevalent on bigger maps like Pearl. It's going to be prevalent on maps like Bind if that comes into rotation,
Yeah.
right? Or if that comes into
Descent.
Ascent, for example. Those kind of maps where you can get complete site control immediately, you can get up to heaven from a main. Like it's straight up. So that's why I think could change here. It's not going to be like teams are going to start to run this with, maybe a Neon in a chamber and stuff like that. No, I think it's going to be more teams are going to try and potentially run the composition that will allow them to enable that dive. And on the opposition, they're going to try and run a composition to stop that dive from happening potentially. And the Killjoy has been the most common answer for that when Raze was, especially had that much more movement. Now you have two of them, so you're going to need a Killjoy and I don't know what else.
That's a super
one
good point,
flashes.
because I was actually wondering not so much how it's gonna be like a, oh, the aggressive duelist kind of like, how does this affect blah blah blah. I was like wondering, how does this affect defense?
Yeah.
Because now you have like a bunch of exactly what you mentioned. You do have a dive comp. I'm gonna turn on my light over here, by the way, because I see a little silhouette of a man. So Just a little light. I don't want to put on my light setup, so it's just like, yeah. Anyway, but yeah, it's it definitely will change things, but I don't think it's going to change things in the way that people expect. I think it's a lot more subtle than something like as game changing as I think, like maybe Neon's introduction was actually.
Yeah, I think my concern here overall, kind of sort of piggyback off what blackenBlue is saying, is that Sentinels kind of suck Like
Yeah.
with Tejo in there, and I know they're nerfing the salvos so they don't take out the
Killjoy's
lockdown.
utilities.
Yeah. So that's nice, but still, like ciphers, like if you can read their setups, if you're still playing Tejos, like you're going to be able to clean those out pretty easily. Same with nanos, right? Like if you know where the nanos are going to be, you're going to be able to take them down. The turrets too. So my concern here is like, I think it's going to be a lot of double duelist, double initiator, and a single controller is what we're going to be seeing a lot of. I think you're going to see a lot of like Yoru, Waylay, or Rays or whatever,
Or ISO.
or ISO. Yes, exactly. Plus Breach Tejo or whatever, combination of double initiator you want to run, KO, Teo, whatever, and then Astra or Omen or something like that. So that's kind of my feeling what we're going to be seeing some of, and I don't think you're going to see a lot of Sentinel play just because it's too easy to clear out the util now, so it's really not that worthwhile in my opinion. I think you're better off just
Not running a
going.
Sentinel.
Yeah, why? Like,
Teams
I mean,
already
you have
do
so
it
much.
anyways.
Yeah, exactly. And you have.
I mean, some maps we probably still need a Sentinel.
The bigger maps probably.
The bigger maps probably,
Yeah.
but the smaller maps maybe we can get away with it. Like Bind, we've always seen that people don't even run Sentinels, so that's probably gonna happen, especially now if you can
Maybe
dive with
Deadlock.
just 2 agents. Maybe
Yeah,
Deadlock.
I was
Maybe
thinking about that.
Deadlock's good.
Deadlock Vi's still good.
Yeah,
That's true. It is annoying, but I think with all the abilities now, you have so much room to get around the Vice util. The Deadlock's a little tougher, but the Vice util in particular, I think actually Vice is way overrated right now.
I think
Vice
so
is
too.
I agree.
way overrated.
I always thought Vice was
Like, oh wow, there's a shear, there's a wall. Oh, I can fly.
okay.
Come on.
Oh wait, there's thorns on the ground. Okay, I'm gonna just stand here.
I can fly.
Or fly.
Oh my God.
You know what I think would be a good counter against the flying shit now? Probably the Gecko, the Dizzy. Right? They're flying up in the air. You throw that on the defense and like, phew, you're all blind.
Well,
It
actually,
is
I don't know what the
PGRS's
interaction is
time,
gonna be
yes.
like, but the Dizzy usually splashes in one direction and one direction only. So maybe when you're flying,
So
you
kinda
can
like
get over it. and
whiff,
it's not
yeah.
You
dodge it.
drag the Dizzy. Ooh.
Yeah. So
Kind of like how
see.
you pass under the thresh. Instead, you go like over the dizzy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because people did do that before, even before they were able to fly. Like they just jump over it. I've seen it done before.
Oh,
not
are
as
you
easy.
you're talking about Gecko utility? Like one of these?
Oh my God.
Hey.
Oh no, there's
Hey,
more.
Hey.
Damn, man. Quack, Paperthin, we're gonna have to
Well,
step it
yeah.
up, dude. I'm
Yeah.
gonna find something later.
It's
Singapore
not mine,
Red
though. I just
office.
borrowed it.
All I got is Dan the
The
Penguin
office.
chilling behind me here, so
Nice.
he's not a Gecko utility. Not yet.
Jack.
All right, so I think we have kind of interesting opinions about Waylay compared to what I think a lot of other people have been talking about. At least when I listen, I think we're a little higher on Waylay maybe than some, but we'll see. Let's talk a little bit about then how this is all affecting the meta of the game, the bigger picture of everything. So Safe, a lot of pros have been tweeting about this, but I think Safe's tweet was kind of the one that kicked all this off. There's a lot of chaos in Valorant. There's a lot of stuff going on your screen. I saw Tens tweeted about this just a little bit ago. This is something I actually mentioned very early on to the devs when this game came out. And I said, you got to be careful with the amount of just spam that's on your screen. What do we see as kind of a future for Valorant here with what's going on with like the amount of clutter that's on our maps, on our screens?
I totally get the concerns because part of the messaging of Valorant at release and at launch in the first place, and it's not verbatim, but something I remember hearing a dev saying was they want to minimize how much verticality and movement there is in that 3D space for agents in general. They don't want it to be like there's flying shit all the time. Well, we have another one now. And the fact that this one is it's almost like Waylay is kind of what people have been memeing on Valorant about in the first place with the design choices. You have Rainbow Road now, especially people who maybe come from games like more grounded titles like Counter-Strike and PUBG, stuff like that. Now you have Rainbow Road, you have flying stuff, you have all these things that are much more prevalent in a hero shooter. And even though this game has characters, there are heroes and villains. It's not necessarily a hero shooter, right? It's like more like a attack shooter with abilities. And yeah, I can see where the concern is coming from. That doesn't mean I don't enjoy Waylay, because I would play the hell out of her, but still, I mean, I can get why people are concerned.
I
Yeah,
mean, there
look
was
at
like
the clips,
one
man.
round that I think it was you and Seth, Clinton, that like was it Paper Rex and I forget. I just remember it was a Paper Rex match on Bind on this side
Oh,
actually.
this side.
And
Yeah,
the-
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
and they were
yeah.
like because I remember there's short content about it. I think there were like 23 skills.
Yeah.
Utilities thrown out
I know exactly
in
who
like
reacted
10
to that.
seconds.
It's the LOL streamer.
It was K.
Kidra,
Yeah,
right?
People actually reacted to that one
That
clip
one
you're
clip,
talking about.
yeah. But his
Like,
one
there's
is
like-
like
There
the
is,
most
yeah. There's like
iconic.
Harbor Viper, Neon,
Yeah.
like Brimstone, all like the
Yeah.
whole kit and caboodle.
Yeah, like if you
Or
count it, it's
Raised.
like there's a smoke, and then you have the reckoning, and then you have the
Nami
Nami.
Ult.
Then you have the Lear, and then there's
Incoming
the
nukes,
strike.
nukes dropping
You have
down
grenades
wall,
somewhere there
pushing
as
over my rocket with a rocket launcher.
I'm a dog. I'm not.
I'm not sure if you guys
Exactly.
are familiar with Onipixel, who's kind of like the biggest
Yes.
Counter-Strike
Counter-Strike,
streamer
yeah.
now. He reacted to his clip too, and he was just like, "What am I looking at?"
That's a good
Great impression.
yeah.
Yeah. that is. Oh man.
But yeah,
I mean, I think you have. Go ahead. Good sleep.
Sorry, I was just gonna say this is actually a legit concern, and I feel like this should be on the top priority of Valorant if they want to keep the identity that they promised. But having said that, I personally don't mind if the Valorant direction is to shift away from that. Like for me personally, because it's a game of its own. It doesn't have to be what it doesn't need to be. If you get what I mean. Like if this is the direction they want to go, then the only challenge is then whether the people, the players can accept that it is the direction we're going, and that's it. Having said that, again, there are always pros and cons in the pro play. That's what makes it hard to determine whether the competitive integrity is still solid or not. That's my only concern.
Yeah, I think for me, the concern I have is for viewers, like making it so that it's obvious what all the util is
Right.
and where it is. Like there are times where like something happens behind a smoke, and you can see the outline of the player, right? Because the observers have the tracer turned on, and you could see the player. And something happens and they die, and you're like, well, what the crap happened? And if you look at it from the other side of the smoke, you can see there was a grab wall there, or there was a stun there, or whatever. But you can't see that,
Yeah.
and sometimes the sound cues get so jumbled, especially when you're casting in a venue that's as loud as it was in Bangkok. I can't forget it. There's no way I'm hearing the sound cues of the games, like other than a few of the ults and stuff. But if there's like that much chaos going, it's really hard to kind of pick apart some of those important moments. So there needs to be some way to kind of rectify that.
This is actually very interesting because did you guys notice this, or is it just me? But nowadays, when we're watching a broadcast of a match, we're seeing a lot more top-down view of whatever's happening. Whereas before, it is still like focused very much on the players themselves from their POVs. But nowadays, maybe because the game is in such a state where there's so many things going on, if you only look from the player's POV, you will not catch like a lot of what's going on. So you are kind of forced to give that like bird's eye's view. And the question is this becoming a different game altogether, right? Like, are you now focused more on the utilities, or are you still focused on the talent?
We StarCraft now.
We're about to start mining our credits soon.
Need more minerals.
To be fair, my bigger concern isn't like the visual clutter, because I think Valorant still does a good job in making sure you can kind of distinctly tell what's happening, like visually, and it's not like a hero shooter. I've been playing a lot of Marvel Rivals, so I know there's like a million utility happening over and over again and again. So at least, in a game like Valorant, there's long cooldowns. Not everybody has their ult all the time, especially now that they've kind of had the ult charge. But I'm more concerned about like the power scaling of new agents that are coming out, because, like, for example, you got Tejo, who was like did everything everybody else did but better, for example, and I didn't like the fact that you have kind of the agents that came out earlier in the game just be almost irrelevant nowadays. Like Sky, just who plays Sky, you know?
Yeah.
I think it's very healthy for a game to have additions to it that have more unique abilities instead of replacing older ones.
Yes.
And a lot of the, I think, games that stay and stand the test of time are ones that have some of the vanilla or base or earlier characters still be very relevant in the meta years on. And to be fair, like characters like Omen are still relevant, characters like Jet are still relevant, but there are a few that have kind of fallen away who used to be near the top and just get, not because that they are completely nerfed to the ground, but also because there are new agents that replace
irrelevant.
everything they do.
Sage.
Where's Reina, bro? I miss my.
Reina.
I miss my.
Well,
What do you mean? They played it on Abyss.
They
Me
did.
neither.
One time.
No, but you're right. I mean, you look at Teo's pick rate, for example.
Oh yeah.
I remember when Teo first came out, and like a lot of teams were like, oh, new agent, maybe we won't really pick him because it's too soon. And then we go into kickoff, and like every team is like
Everyone's using
running
it.
Teo.
Like, why is his ult literally rolling thunder, but just it kills you?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
why is
yeah.
it just a better rolling thunder?
Oh my god! Thank you for
Why are
Well-
saying
salvos
the
of better
words.
paint shells?
Yeah.
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 He does
Yeah.
something that a couple agents do straight up better.
The
It's
drone?
too much.
Hello.
Yeah,
It's
the
just
drone
a
is-
Sova drone with a KO knife attached to it.
Yeah, kind of better than the owl drone. Yep.
It's
He's
not
like,
even an owl drone. It's like the Trailblazer, but better
It's
because
the
it
Sky
goes
Dog.
much
Yeah,
further.
that's a good point.
Sova drone of pinging enemies and suppressing like the KO knife.
It goes much further. Like on split from B main, I can clear all the way to CT. Why does it go that far?
I mean, if I were to kind of try to think, I have no clue about any of this, but if I were to try to think from like a game dev Riot point of view, it's the whole thing of like trying to balance, casual play and ranked competitive or pro play, which is not easy for sure. But I can see maybe that's why they still have some of the older traditional agents still around and maybe not quite yet reworked to a point where they are relevant in pro play. I mean, the new stuff coming out just keeps the game kind of fresh and fun to continue to play and watch and everything. So because there's always new things coming up. But then maybe like for those who do play like lower ranks or like solo, then you could still run the Reyna, you could still run the Phoenix, and you don't feel so bad, and it still works out, depending on how your games are. Maybe that gets a little bit more phased out if you're playing like Immortal or whatever, but for those who are casual, people who don't play like every day, they got jobs and like families to look after, but they still enjoy watching VCT, like they can still kind of enjoy a little bit. But it's tough to balance the whole thing out, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, I'm very curious about Waylay and what her role in the game will be. Let's move on. Talk a little bit about what's going on in Korea now. T1 has won, so that's your second Korean team that's won a international trophy. So Korea now the second most played game in the PC Bangs here. Has actually kind of been for a while. Yeah. It's beating out FIFA now, which is crazy. So that's like that's huge.
StarCraft.
Yeah, well, poor StarCraft. I mean, it's still here. There's still a scene.
Maple.
There's still there's still Brood War. There's still a Brood War like league that Soup does.
Stonky?
Oh, you're on PUBG?
Yeah. PUBG's still popular, very popular
wow.
in Asia. And let's just give a shout out to our PUBG coaches who just won a Masters. Autumn, Indigo, and Chungak, all former PUBG either players or coaches.
Very nice.
So very cool to see that. But yeah, I mean, I think this is pretty interesting. I think, as much as we just talked about how we're concerned about maybe some of the things going on in the game, it's still increasing in popularity overall, which is a pretty big deal. And, Meteor talked about it. It's now the young generation's game. It used to be League of Legends. Now it's Valorant. What does this mean? What does this mean for the future? What are we seeing?
Valorant, best game.
I mean, all I'm saying is, Riot 2-0. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's at the top.
We got a fighting game coming out soon. Oh,
Yeah, dude.
Oh,
Koreans are good at fighting games too.
they are.
Yeah. I mean, winning helps, guys. Like, you get two teams from your country winning, obviously everybody's going to start playing it, no? Like, same thing is going to happen
True.
it's pretty big
Barbecue
everywhere.
wins or Team Secret wins. And
It's
it's just a cause and effect thing. I feel.
Popular in Singapore as well. I just think I don't know what it means for the future, but it's nice to have it. I mean, we've always had, Asian CS still, right? It still is a thing, which is really nice, and it's
Yep.
I don't know. It was a little bit hard for me to follow, like growing up.
But we're
'cause I
actually getting
wasn't
better, yeah.
aware of it. Yeah, we
Yeah,
are
yeah.
getting better.
Mongols
we
are good.
right?
Mongols are good.
That's the thing. So just having a little bit more of that representation, the fact that we are winning in Asia
Yeah.
now, it's like it's really nice. But biggest thing for me is I wanted to get to a point where we are big enough and we have Linkin Park perform an opening segment.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Come on.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I don't. Can we get somebody else other than Linkin Park? Can we get like
What?
Yeah, I want 21
Would you-
Pilots.
I want like
I
No,
want-
I
your
was gonna say-
special request.
I want to take
I was
like
gonna say
Creed.
some bands, and I was like,
I'm
Like, we-
6 feet from
Green-
the
I
earth.
don't know what our
How about
average
Green Day?
age is.
Everybody likes Green Day. right?
Yeah,
Yes.
I would
Hey.
But that's my concern is like I don't know what our average is here on this podcast.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
like,
I think you know.
well,
I think you're gonna be close if you get
majority of people playing Valorant are like younger
Yeah.
than our average age. I don't know if their music tastes align with ours.
I don't know how hip rock and roll is nowadays with the kids.
Come
Makes me a
on,
little
Heavy as the
sad.
Crown was awesome.
Yeah, it was.
I dug that so much. That was a
Yeah,
great.
it was pretty great to see Linkin Park, and then you
Awesome.
have the players walking out,
Yeah.
and you have the
What
trophy
is-
come out.
Right?
It was like,
was
that was
announcing-
that was
really,
the
oh
that was
my
pretty
god.
sick. That was
And
pretty
the
sick.
lanes that they play and everything. What is this
Yeah.
Kpopification of Valorant? Oh my god.
Whoa!
Whoa.
I'm joking.
You're gonna have the K-pop fans coming at you. Now.
Yeah.
You don't want to
Come
anger
after this
them
man.
either.
Yeah,
The scans are
Sleepy's
coming
handing
for
out
you.
like
Do you guys
cards
see that
of, like,
tweet?
Exactly.
Did you
Exactly.
guys see that tweet though? The dude who tweeted
We
that?
did. We did.
Yeah, yeah.
You should probably talk about that.
Was that? Was that
That's a
Zeke?
forum find.
Wasn't that
It
Zeke?
was an Ascent player, Zeke. Yes.
Yeah.
Zeke. Yeah. Wait,
Uh,
isn't that like Zeke from like a Send
Yeah, from a
2021
Yeah,
champions?
yeah.
Champion winner.
Yep.
No.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't care.
It's good.
Whatever
It's
makes
good.
the fans happy.
Yeah,
I
if
don't
it brings
really
the fans
give a
over.
shit.
I mean, look at this. This is definitely the K-popification
Definitely.
of
With a
Valorant,
local
you know?
taste to it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we scroll down, I think I remember reading. I guess his point was not the branding, but more like how people
The
obsess
parasocial.
over
I-
the
I can't
parasocial aspect
imagine
of the
how it makes
players.
some people
Oh.
uncomfortable.
But I'm not sure if that was a cope after the
That-
fact.
no.
No, I love Leo's response.
with the gym.
Oh my god.
It's perfect. That's
I
just so good.
didn't see that, but damn.
I mean, yeah, the whole like, and it's a problem in all like media and
Media,
entertainment, right?
yeah.
It
True.
is a huge problem.
The streamers,
the way
for
that-
example, deal with that a lot.
Oh
Yep.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
It's
No, I
you
think
can't
though-
live
Way
stream no
bigger
more.
Yeah.
This one.
This
though,
was the
I
one,
know
though. I
this
think
one.
this
one
was
is
the
what
one.
triggered- This one
That
is what
kind of
triggered
like
the whole
set
vote.
everything off. The pregnant Zelsis. I don't even know
I don't
how.
even know what the content for this is.
Yeah.
Is this
Oh,
just like fan fiction stuff?
although
Like,
he
Yeah.
he responded
Yeah.
quite positively to
Positively?
it. He was like,
I
oh
mean-
yeah, that's me. Like after I eat, I don't know.
if
a
somebody
lot."
did that for me, I'd be laughing my ass off.
Same.
I'm not gonna lie. I think it'd be really funny. Like
Yeah.
I don't take myself seriously, so like when people do that kind of stuff, I'm
I
just
just
like,
laugh
this is
with it,
bizarre,
right?
but
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
just roll with the punches. I mean, I think it's hard because not everybody's that way, right? Not everybody
Yeah.
has that.
No,
fan
I
art is
think-
fan art, you know.
Here's the thing,
Yeah.
right? I think this parasocial relationship thing has been around since forever. It's just that there's much more easier access today to make your words be heard by the people you're having a parasocial relationship with. And that's
Word.
why people like maybe Zeke feels like this shit sucks. But it's
Yeah.
been there forever, bro. It's just more visible now.
It's part of the deal now.
Yeah.
Yep,
That's just all there's
yep.
to it.
I mean,
You're
like-
not getting away from it.
pro players, you know, they gotta put themselves out there, and they're basically like,
sure.
the new sort of celebrities, and
Yes.
Oh,
obviously
yeah.
this, right? Or we like, we kind of have to. They kind of have to be celebrities at this point. So when you have like merch being made of you and stuff and everything, that's kind of like say that you're on the right path, you're on the right road
Yeah.
if you want this to be successful. Unfortunately, I guess like sometimes it can be a little uncomfortable because like that's part of it. I mean, you see it happen to K-pop idols, you see it happen to actors, for example, and now I guess esports athletes are part of that.
Yeah, I actually this is actually a debate for another time, I think. But
Yeah, it's really
something
big.
is very interesting about this topic, Mika. Like players who are really good at the game, most of them don't want to be celebrities. But for them to be able to play at the highest level, they kind of have
To be. Yeah, I mean, you can see it as well in like interviews. It's like
Yeah.
I have to interview them. I'm like, I know you don't want to talk to me.
Yeah.
I know for sure. Like I know you don't want to be on the
Yeah.
shoot. I know, but you gotta do it
You gotta
because
do it.
you have to, and you have to do silly stuff so that you can get the views. And
I
you know,
guess that's
Traditional
the-
athletes too. I think traditional athletes go
Exactly,
through that a little
yeah.
bit as well.
just the
Yep.
price to pay, guys.
Yeah.
It is.
Price to pay.
As my dad would say, suck it up, Buttercup.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Thanks, Dad.
Thanks, Dad. All right.
Disappoint you, Dad.
Yeah, definitely not. All right. So we can talk about Pacific Stage 1. My God, we've been rambling today.
I don't
Oh,
know
well.
if we can. So
Let's.
much. Maybe just.
Do you want to do it quick? Do we want to do
Yeah.
it just a quick
drive-by?
tier list? Let's do a drive-by on the tier list.
Maybe not drive-by. Maybe like a drive-by, stop Hong Kong, then we go.
Drive through, maybe.
I don't-
Okay.
I mean, I think T1 still gets to sit at the top. We were right about that.
Uh-huh.
Good high five us. Any other thoughts? I mean, Paper X probably
Nah.
maybe dropping down a little bit.
That was such a quick nah. Oh my god.
All right,
Nah.
we
I'm
drop
gonna
Paper
put-
X down.
I say Paper X, one tier down.
One tier
One
down.
tier down.
Let's swap DRX with
DRX
Paper X,
up.
I think.
DRX
Yep.
up.
It's as it should be. Koreans dominating esports
Mm-hmm.
as
Mhm.
usual.
No,
What
should have
about-
to go up for sure.
No,
Talent
no,
up.
goes
should
up?
go up. no?
Talent up. Talent up. One.
Talent up. I think
Talent
talent up. Yeah. I think
Talent
You
up.
go with the
DFM
new
one?
players.
DFM.
DFM is still.
Pause.
territory.
Pause.
Here's the thing, though, right? PRX lost 1-13 to DFM, and now you were saying DFM.
DFM
is
up.
still
DFM
up
up.
there,
DFM
though?
up. DFM
I
up.
Put 'em
actually
up.
wanna-
Let's
agree,
do it.
I agree,
Yeah.
agree.
I don't know why
DFM
I'm
up.
fighting for DFM instead of PaperX,
I'm
but
the biggest DFM stan, so yeah.
I'm just
DFM up.
being
I
objective
agree.
here, guys. Okay.
Nongshim.
I think
Nongshim
then
has
you
to
got to
go.
move RQ and
RQ, yeah.
I think they're just as good, maybe better. I think Dongshim's kind of a question mark for me now that Neon is just kind of dead.
I do want to put Talon up one more though,
Yeah,
Playoff.
because they
you like
up
these new
four.
players?
I
You're
like
high
the
on-
players.
Also because like they have a full tie roster.
They have a
now.
full tie roster now. Exactly, solves a lot of the comms.
Cruz was
problems.
super stoked.
Mm.
I have
Yeah.
never seen him happier in my life when I talked to him in Thailand. He
Poor
was
guy.
so jazzed for stage 1.
Nice. See,
No,
that's the
shit,
spirit,
no.
right? So I think there might be hope for Talon.
I'm so glad they got Killua. He was always
Mm.
one of the better
Talented
players
boy.
from. Yeah, I've been saying this the whole time. Thailand's actually low-key the best region in SEA, so I don't know why they didn't have a full Thai region.
Yeah.
Thai team in
Yeah.
the first place. They
Agreed.
were always the number one
Always
region
in
in SEA.
FPS.
So like, what's up?
Well,
Agreed.
there you go.
All right, now's the
Talon?
chance. How about I think we moved Team Secret Zeta down, move Boom up. How do people feel about that?
Boom.
I
Question
agree
mark?
with Boom. Yeah, Boom actually
Boom
did
up.
pretty damn well.
They look good. They look solid.
Yeah.
They
I think
could have
Zeta-
2-0 T1. They
Yeah.
could have.
Yeah.
Damn.
I think you got to
alternate
move Zeta
timeline.
down. I don't think they have. I don't know. I don't have confidence in this team anymore. As much as it pains me to say that. As much as I love Depp, I don't know. I just don't
We got
know.
Patrick Hu in for global.
That's right.
Yeah,
Patrick
that's the
Hu got his
hopium
visa.
right there.
That's right.
That's the hopium.
That's the
Finally.
hopium right there.
He has a visa. Sana all,
Sorry,
as we like
Darian.
to say.
Oi, Philippines!
As we like to say, sana all, which translates to, oh, if only everybody did get their visa. I'll be there soon. Cry.
I'm
Right.
pretty happy that lots of teams are kind of using or finding lots of talent from the Philippines to export out into their own team, right, from
Yeah.
outside of the region. And I like it because of the fact that we have so many good players, but the reason why Philippine teams aren't winning is because we don't have many good coaches at all. And
Ooh.
so
They don't get
the
that.
fact that they finally get to actually play like in a proper system,
proper
I think
setting,
it's
yeah.
it's a lot more appropriate, and that's why like with Paper X obviously taking Patman.
Patman.
And even the fact that Global took Patrick who is a player that is relatively unknown to the rest of the scene and relatively unproven even here. He's only played like one split of the VCT Philippines. So the fact that they took a chance on him, I think, goes to show that there's lots of talent. There's just nobody to hone that talent here.
I'm so dying to ask Juvenile. Maybe when we get him on a coach's interview, on the analyst desk, I'm dying to ask him, like, you went from Aspas last year to Patrick who? Get kind of enlighten us a little bit on why this guy, right? But yeah, I'm excited for him though.
It's a classic brain drain, Mika. You know how we like Filipinos, we export the nurses to other hospitals.
Same.
Right?
It's the OFW.
Yeah, the OFW.
The overseas Filipino worker.
Yeah, like here's our nurses, and same with Valorant. Here's our players. Take care of them.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
The timing! Joandy, my goat.
Beautiful, Joandy. Beautiful.
Can we like quick shout out to Joandy, because we talked about our perspectives at Masters Bangkok, but that guy has been there. That guy
The
is
whole
a long
thing,
thing.
everyone.
He was that TRX fan that arrived at the airport.
Yes.
He was
He
an
brought me
EDG
Indomie.
fan.
Turned EDG.
He brought me Indomie, bro.
Indomie.
EDG jersey, was in the media booth with the gas mask.
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
doing all the work.
Insane, Joandy.
Joandy's just out there killing it. I am
Yeah.
Indomie pilled now. That stuff is freaking amazing.
I need more.
I'm
I need
addicted.
more Indomie.
Sir.
I gotta
Thank
see if I
Joandy.
can find a grocery store in Korea that carries it. 'Cause
Just make
I'm
sure
not-
it's made in Indonesia, okay? Because
I'm-
the
yeah,
ones
yeah.
made outside of Indonesia,
Mhm.
not
probably
so
not as good.
I'm really not
Yeah.
like an instant noodle guy, but the only two like instant noodles that I'm okay with is Indomie and yakisoba from.
I thought you were gonna
Oh.
say Nongshim.
Low key, that's what's in my head as well.
Is it? Why
I
are
know
they a
she was
noodle? Is
Yeah.
Nongshim a noodle?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're a
Yeah.
ramen
Wait.
company.
The Shin ramen is Nongshim.
Yeah,
Mika,
Shin
imagine if we had the
Yeah,
team called
Chobra.
Pancit Canton.
Lucky me, esports. Let's go.
Yeah.
How's
All right.
Joandy doing?
All right. How's this tier list, guys?
Looks good to me.
Solid.
I
yeah.
agree.
Yep.
You guys realize we
Alright.
just moved a lot of teams up? That's a pretty good sign too.
We
I
moved some
kind of
down.
wanna leave Genji
Sorry.
a little hanging though, because we have to know.
Maybe
Like,
move
who's-
Genji down.
I'd
who's-
move Genji down. Yeah.
I
All right.
Genji
Really?
fluttering-
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
which,
yeah.
by the way, there is that news that Genji has just let
Yo,
go of
man.
one of their
Yeah,
players.
Yeah,
like,
how did
exactly.
we
So
not talk about that?
who are they?
We've
Well,
been-
we are now.
We're gonna do it now.
And
Yeah.
That would depend on where I would personally place Genji.
That's a good
Yeah.
point.
We don't know who the next player is gonna be.
I still want to keep them up there though.
I think
Texture
to me,
good.
this just well, yeah. I
Kinda
mean,
good.
look, you have texture, and as long as Munchkin's kind of got his head on straight, they're going to be competitive. I think this just screams to me the big problem I had when they picked up Yeoman and they kept Munchkin as the IGL. I'm like, well, why? Yeoman's an IGL, like he's not a fragger, and that's not a knock on Yeoman. He's a very good IGL. He was like the player that all the Korean teams are looking at is like he's the next guy to be an IGL. He's the next Stacks. He's the next Munchkin. And instead they just kind of used him as a info initiator and it didn't go good. So I'm not super surprised by this, to be honest.
This is a fantastic picture to go with this headline, by the way. Good job, Joandy.
Yeah.
Insane.
Nice choice. Yeah,
Yeah.
just Yeoman's face there.
Journalist.
It's a art, work of art.
Any other thoughts? We kind of got to move it along. We're
We're
running over on time.
It's a
There's a
special
new-
episode. It's a special
new
episode to
episode?
C1
Yeah,
One.
It is.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
okay,
a celebratory
We
episode.
gotta
Okay, all
rub
right,
it
all
in. There's a
All
new
right, fair.
Paper X post on Twitter.
Oh
just
yeah.
now. Yeah.
Which one?
Speak of the devil.
Why am I so scared right now? Hold on.
Batman.
Batman.
Wait, I'm not there yet.
No, look at the share, the
Oh
screen.
wait, shit. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Hello.
Scroll down,
Right.
Joandy.
There you go.
I love that meme of like Paper Rex, like
Look at
the
the
Thanos
comment by
one.
Matt.
No trouble,
The
no problem,
Infinity
no
Stone.
big
No big problem. Yes, please like that for me. Yes, that is hilarious.
Nice.
Look,
Uh,
we're trying to keep the positive vibes, all right, guys. We know we're down bad right now, but if we don't hype ourselves up, who's gonna?
Hey,
'Cause,
I mean,
know,
in Bangkok, there were so many Paper X
Yes.
fans. There were
Yes.
so many jerseys, and then like you know,
Even
when the camera would like pan to somebody who had the Paper X
Yeah.
jersey,
When-
everybody's
That's
like,
gonna be
"Whoa!"
Yeah,
Now
well,
we
shout out to
got
the Thai fans. I really
Hey,
love their energy.
Suka Bliat. We
Tell
got
us.
Maka Hijau. Sorry.
Well, you're just you've got all the bad
Most of
words
each
in
of the- of
like
the
5 different
regions.
languages.
Yeah.
Yeah, freaking merd.
was
All
funny.
right, tell us about this, Sleepy.
Yeah.
Let's give us what you can give us as usual.
Shit. Okay.
You guys picked up a TFT player.
Yeah, we did.
That's true. You did.
Maybe
Congrats.
thinking about branching out now because our team's not doing so well.
Oh,
Oh.
No, just
Yep.
kidding. I think we did talk about it last stream, last
Mhm.
episode about Jason's you know, his feelings about what's happening. It feels like the team is in work mode instead of, the Paperx that we know that's
mode.
having fun, that's just there to play the game and wreck the rules, break the rules, and just make the plays feel like Paperx. And maybe they felt like it's the identity that we are trying to hold on to is either lost or just not working as much as it did before. So obviously there's gonna be changes. I don't know in what form. Like, because personally, like, this is no cap. I'm not trying to just be PR, giving you PR answers. I personally also don't have a great amount of visibility into what the team's cooking, but I do know there are some changes happening. In what form, I can't really share. So hopefully stage 1 is going to be the time for us to kind of pick the crumbs up and maybe start trailing back to the path that we were supposed to be in. And we'll see. But it's a big challenge for us in the first 2 weeks, man. It's against these two teams right here, right? Gingy and DRX. So if anything, I think we can see what Paperx is going to be like after those 2 matches.
But I think also like, so that's why having a player like Patman is
Batman,
also, is
Yeah,
also beneficial, just because for a core like Paper Rex where they've been together for so long, I think year in and year out, it's like
the
stage
longest
1, stage
standing
2,
streak.
and
I
then
think,
we'll
right?
do a Masters and Champions. Maybe it can get old.
Yeah.
It's like it's this again. So to bring somebody in who's totally fresh to all this might reignite that kind of that kind of passion and that kind of newness or freshness to approaching qualifying again, or to approach even like the first match of stage 1, right?
Even
That
just
new-
in general, the game, like how
Yeah.
you play the game, how you approach the rounds. They having a fresh perspective is always good, and that's what we also said in the announcement too. Like staying together for so long might have its downsides. Chemistry wise, obviously, it's good, but it might become too good that you get too comfortable. So Batman is hopefully here to reinvigorate that. And I think he's one of the best choices we have right now.
I'm
and
actually quite
he's-
surprised and impressed that the paper reach the
Paper
paper
Reach?
reach
Paper
the
Reach
paper
Farm?
reach
Reach.
the paper reach got that far to get
Yeah.
get a player who doesn't have any tier 1 experience. But I'm very impressed because this kid, he went from a dude who was just like, he's okay, to holy shit, this dude is so good within a
Yeah.
year. He
Yeah.
was our most improved player for like 2 years in a row. And the fact that you improved that much 2 years in a row is already saying something. So the fact that you guys got a super young player who's super coachable and super flexible, he plays everything, all the roles, he can play them, and very well. He started as a duelist and started playing everything else. The fact that you were able to get a player like him, and he's great in the clutch too, was very impressive to me. I was like, the paper reach do be reaching far today. Huh?
Yeah, I mean, putting my Paperx hats off right now, I'm just saying, like, this is actually what Paperx might need, right? Like a flexible player that you can decide to slot in like anywhere we need him. I feel like that's way more important than getting like a famous name like what some other teams did in the past, So, young talent, coachable, obviously very capable, very flexible, all the bulls that we can give him.
Can you just imagine also like the hunger that this guy
Yes.
has, right? Because
Yes.
you come into one of the biggest teams in not just in Pacific but in the world. You're playing with superstars. You have a superstar coach too. Everybody's a superstar. They bring you in. You're gonna want to prove yourself. You
Yeah.
definitely like there's so much to learn from. And I think like for a team that as we mentioned that has been doing this for a while, that's that's really the key. So I'm excited for Patman. I'm really
Oh, yeah,
excited for him.
sure.
And
Me too.
I'm really
can-
glad too. Not because Paper Rex is like the de facto SEA team for a
Yeah.
long time, and so even back in 2023, I posted a part of the screenshot on Twitter about this when I was talking to Victoria. I was like, "When are they gonna get a Filipino
Just
in there?"
one
You know?
Yeah.
thing
I mean,
to
one.
complete the Infinity Stone.
We did it.
Yeah, because you guys had CGRS, you had the Thai dude already, so it's like
Yep.
you have Filipino in there.
We
Like,
did it.
get what?
We did it.
Yeah.
You did it.
Completed it. Yeah.
Oh, he found it.
Yeah.
Seems incomplete.
Oh my god.
I agree with Vic.
Chwandi has amazing skills. Oh, goated. All right.
Wait, do I see that right? You haven't followed Vic?
Wait.
Chwandi.
No.
Call them out. Oh.
He was
Oh,
so
no.
cute.
Johnny, any words?
We saved it. We saved it.
You gotta explain yourself, Rondi.
Well, it's just an error, okay?
Yeah, right, Joanne.
To be
Yeah,
fair,
right.
there's always people that I run across on Twitter like, I'm not following you. Like, oops.
Yeah,
No,
it
no,
does
because
They
happen.
it's
don't
also
see
like
that.
it's also like the algorithm, right? It's like sometimes you see things even though you don't follow them, so you kind of forget that you
Yeah,
don't
but
or
you're not,
don't
yeah.
like.
Correct.
I follow her. It's
It's Elon's fault. He broke it. He broke it.
It's Elon's
Look, Twitter was down like I don't know how many times
Yeah.
the other day, right?
Elon's
So
breaking a
maybe
lot
it
of
got lost
things.
in, like one of those every time.
I had the conspiracy that maybe it unfollows and sometimes follows people that he don't even want to. Like, I'm like, sometimes
Actually,
I'll look,
though,
That's
I'll look
so
at
annoying.
somebody
That's
even
so
on Meta on Facebook and be like, I'm friends with you, and then sometimes I'd be like, I'd see somebody's Twitter and be like, I'm not following you.
Yeah.
Like,
I
Yeah,
get
yeah,
that on Facebook,
get
on
that too.
Instagram even. I'm like, wait,
Yeah.
when did I follow you, or when
Like-
did I not follow you, or like,
you know,
yeah.
like who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah.
All right,
Alright,
I
so-
think that's good, man.
Yeah, that's good. All right. I think we talked about a little bit some of the other moves that have been made with the Thai players, with Patrick Hu being able to get his visa. So I think we're good to go there. So let's skip down to the very last thing we have, which is the YAP Predicts. So we did have a victorious Quack in
Yeah.
our previous. Quack, did you come up with a hot take for us to defend?
Oh boy.
Mika's gotta defend this too.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mika
we're-
gets to defend it too
Mika
by
to do it?
proxy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
Mika,
Mika,
What-
okay,
what
how
is
about
this?
this? Mika
Explain
will
to her
have the
the-
option to participate. but
Explain
if
to
she
her
doesn't
the-
want it,
Nani?
you're
What?
free.
What is this?
So
Ah.
we had a like there
We
were
have a
like 4
segment.
questions, yeah, and we all had to like place bets on each of the questions, and we get points based on if we win or lose the
Ooh,
bet.
Okay.
So Quack won, and his reward is he gets to come up with a hot take, and all the rest of us have to defend it, no matter how stupid we think it might be.
Mhm.
So,
Alright,
so so we have to do his hot take justice as best as we can.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Well, give it a shot. Well, my hot take for this whole thing is, I have to explain the whole thing. So back then when we did the first like hot takes thing, I think like last year, like for the Christmas episode,
Yeah.
we had our hot takes. I was talking about Team Secret and how like, oh, they're probably not gonna improve or make playoffs this time. And then we had a couple of responses, right? There was a guy called S71NG.
Oh, you got called out.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know, Sevening or something. Maybe that's his name. But he said, like, in response to the episode, if T1 doesn't make top 4 or something, he's gonna shave his head. I misread that tweet. I thought he was talking about Team Secret, so I doubled down. I was like, well, if T1 doesn't make, but I meant Team Secret. If T1 does make top 4, I am gonna shave my head. So now I'm gonna go through with this whole thing because I believe the evidence supports this claim, and that is that T1 is not gonna make top 4 by the end of the 2025 season. And that's what it's gonna be. And if they do, I'm gonna shave my head. Maybe if production clears it, we'll do it on Pacific. If not, it'll be a video.
All right.
Do
Dude,
we?
I'm an
yeah.
expert.
Beautiful. We started
go
this
there.
talking about shaving.
I'll go
Started
there
this
for the
talking about
shave.
shaving, we're
I'm
end
gonna
this
come for
talking
the
about
shave.
Come over. Come over.
I'm booking a visa. What's your
I mean,
reason?
think about it, right?
I gotta get a
Gen G,
shave.
Gen G won. You know, they did great, and then they started to drop off, right? Because like
Yeah.
the schedule and everything. Maybe same's gonna happen to T1. So T1's not
Right.
making top 4 by end of 2025 season. I'm
Wait.
backing up.
Who's-
Who's
who's
I
got
am,
to
I
defend?
am ready to
what do we
defend
have
this.
to? What do we have to defend?
Okay.
That T1.
We
Our
have to
team
defend
secret?
Quack's take.
Quack's
Okay.
Defense,
No,
yeah,
we have to
support that
defend
T1's not going to make
Oh,
top
okay.
4.
So T1 is T1.
Yeah, even if you don't believe it, which I don't,
Yeah.
but we have
Okay,
to support
okay,
it. So.
okay.
You're the
understood,
lawyer.
It's
you
a
know.
hot
This
take.
was my stance anyway, so this is
Yeah.
mine.
We're the defense attorneys now.
Okay.
Okay.
We have to
All right.
defend it.
Got it.
Thank you.
So, Black and Blue, you're ready. Let
Yes.
us hear it.
Well, they say, and it's good that you brought this up, Quack, because I was actually holding his point throughout the entire episode. I was wondering, like, if I even bring it up. Where was I going with this? No, right. So, like, if you look at history, especially last year, what do we have in common about the 2 Korean teams so far that have won a Masters? Gen G and T1. Meteors on both of them. They're both
Ooh.
Korean teams. They started off the year really strong. Both Masters doing pretty well. They made the grand finals. The first one, in this case, T1 won that. But when it came down to the champions at the end of the day, when they went back to Korea during VCT champs, everything fizzled out, bombing out in the group stages against, was it Sentinels? And so if history is meant to repeat itself, and now we have another Korean team who did well, another super Korean team who, after their immediate formation, exceeded and did well in the immediate international tournament right then after, then sometimes history is bound to repeat itself. And I'm worried that that's exactly what's going to happen here. They do super well as a super team to start things off. Maybe they do great as well in the second Masters of the year, but champions, I'm worried they're going to bomb out the same way that Gen G did.
Okay.
And Quack is right.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
Anybody else? I basically more or less agree that it would just be them running out of steam, running out of that cohesion and energy.
Let's hear from Mika.
Yeah.
Mika?
Yeah, I
She's
actually do have a defense plan for this, Your Honor. So, for one, right after winning Masters Bangkok, which team do you think has a target on their backs? It's definitely T1.
Mm.
Everything's been laid out on the table for T1. They gave so much in that grand finals. And I've said this also before, that like, okay, you put them on the global stage and it's all good. You put them on the Pacific stage, and now that all of the teams have seen T1 and they have, I guess, like the least time to practice with all of these new changes coming in, stage 1 is not looking too good for them. That snowball is, I feel like, bound to continue if they can't pick up the momentum going in to the rest of the year. So I think that's number 1 of why they might also bomb out. And also just
Number
because
2.
I feel like, yeah, there's a number 2. I feel like you have DRX, right? And we're talking about the momentum that DRX is supposed to build up on.
Mhm.
Other teams, I just feel like, are gonna get better. There are, there's lots of room for them to kind of catch up. So it's a combination of T1 kind of being figured out and the other teams like reaching that, their ceilings as well.
Mm.
Well, yes, very, very apt. Thank
Well
you
put.
very much.
Well put.
I rest my case, Your Honor.
Excellent. Very nice. Any rebuttals here, Sleepy?
No, I fully agree with Quack. Quack is the best in. Okay.
You guys asked for a hot take.
man.
All right. Okay. All right. I think we're good on this. Our Phoenix Wright cosplay is over. Let's
Objection.
objection. All right. We have to also, Sleepy, I think you have to give us a did you know?
Yes. Okay. All right. Are you all ready? That is gonna be very super.
Because you lost Mr. 0 points.
I did lose all my money, Mika. For context, I bet
Aw.
on everything and I lost everything.
You bet on everything
Man.
on Paper X.
I-
You bet everything on Paper X.
I want to believe in it, but Okay. So my did you know today is on a very relevant topic that is the name of this podcast. We are called YAP2ASIA. I'm not going to explain the 2Asia part because it's obvious, but I am going to explain what YAP is and when it first used. When it was
Oh.
first used.
Wow.
Oh,
Etymology.
I'm excited.
In our modern era, YAP would be described as a vivid verbal exchanges, like throughout a long, engaging chat between two or more people, like this setting right here. So it's like describing what we know it describes, which is just, a long talk, chatting. But did you know that the first recorded use of the word YAP was actually back in 1603?
What?
1603. And there's a name. When Christopher Haydon,
What?
soldier and astrologer, wrote it in his scripts.
An astrologer.
Yeah.
And a soldier.
So
Why
at
did
first,
Yeah.
first, it was originally described. It was used to describe a yapping dog. The hyphen yelp
Oh.
Yep.
that dogs produce to express excitement or command attention. But now it's
It was an
evolved.
onomatopoeia.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now it's evolved and it's now used very casually, as you know, as a term to describe conversations, and that is where YAP came from.
Came
Oh
from
my
an
God.
astrologer.
I am
Wow.
Well done.
stunned.
I like that.
befuddled.
Yes,
I like that.
sir.
You did your
That was well done.
research.
Yes,
Yeah.
That's a really good. I thought he was gonna derail the whole thing, but
I love
this
it.
actually-
A plus on the
I'm
homework
proud.
today.
I'm
Oh my
proud of
God.
myself.
I
for
bet
this.
I bet he wrote in his notebook like, the hounds, the yappeth too much.
1600s.
It might have been that way, to be honest. Dude, I can't even imagine what they write like in 1603. Maybe I should do some.
I've
research.
read some of the old English stuff because we had to in my high school, and
Right.
it's
You
it's
aren't
brutal.
that old, Clinton.
No, not that old.
Back in the 1600s.
Back
This
in
is
the
what we did in
1600s.
high school.
Well, we had to read this crap in my stupid
Right,
English
right.
classes in high school. It was stupid. All right, enough of that. Are we doing some predicts? Are we going? Do we have some today, Joandy?
Do we have something?
Yes. So
But I have no
Oh.
money, Joandy. What's up with
Yeah,
that?
what do we do for him? He's broke. Can he go in the
Borrow from the
Give him
negatives?
his
bank.
money.
negatives.
Negatives? Okay.
Do
All
we
right.
just reset week to week? We just go back to 20 and
Alright.
do it all
Alright.
over again?
Yeah, we can do that.
Let's
Okay.
do that. That's easiest.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Hit us up. None of us have seen these.
Oh shoot.
So you get so Mika, so you get 20 YAP bucks to work with. And you can
20
there's
YAP.
how many questions is it? 3? Joandy?
Yes. Three.
Three
Three,
questions.
okay.
So 3 questions. You get to spend the $20 as much as you want. You have to spend at least one. So max 18 on one question. But
Interesting.
Wow. Okay.
and then the each question is a multiplier, so it depends on how difficult the question might be or whatever. So
Wow. Okay. Does
Yeah.
it does it get harder? Like 1, 2, 3 is like number 3.
It can.
hardest?
we don't
Again,
know.
Oh, it depends.
We don't know
Oh,
the questions. and then-
Joandy is the one
Right.
that prepared all this.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I guess if you somehow like win or lose, then when you come back in a future episode, we'll have you have to do your thing.
All right. So first question: will T1 flex their trophy on their first stage 1 match like Gen G did last year? This is a yes or no question. Black and Blue, you're on the list first, so you get to go first.
Well, T1 flexed their trophy on the first stage 1 match. Like,
So if you forget Gen G, brought
who are
out the
they
trophy
playing
with them.
first is a question.
That's a good
T1.
question.
Playing Zeta.
Zeta? No.
Oh.
Yeah, I get what you can say.
I like it.
No.
How many?
I like
how many?
that.
How many
bad
YAP
taste.
bucks?
That's bad.
How many
taste.
YAP bucks?
I'm gonna put how many we get? We get 20, right? I'm gonna put like
yeah,
a straight up 9 on that.
9.
Yeah.
Ooh, wow.
Oh.
I'm gonna go yes because of the players and their ego. I'm gonna go yes with 7. No, 6. 6. Change my mind. 6.
Okay, can you make mine 8? Can I?
Wow.
Quack.
Black and Blue actually has a good case for this. If it's Zeta, they might not.
Will Pacific even let them? We don't know.
They don't get a sit now. I think just the fact that it's T1, you're doing it for Pacific. I'm gonna say yes, but I want to hold on to what I've got, so I'm gonna say 5.
Okay. Sleepy.
I'll say no.
No.
With 7 YAP bucks.
7 YAP bucks.
Cuts me
Okay.
line. Cuts under me.
Jwandi.
I'm gonna say yes, and I'm gonna bet $10.
Wow.
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 Johnny's going big.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Up
And
in the
Mika, our
big.
guest, what are your thoughts?
I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna go with 7.
Okay.
The players have been flexing it on their streams. I know Stacks is gonna want to bring that out. Also, the question does not say when. Oh wait, it doesn't say
First
when.
match,
First
it
match.
does.
First
I,
match.
also
First
stick with it.
match.
Also stick with it.
Okay.
Can
Also
we,
stick with it. I was like, first match. Damn. But I also stick with it.
yo, Paperthin, could you like
Yeah, what
text Stacks and like tell him, give him
We'll
see
tell
this
him.
idea in his
I
mind?
know.
Bring
Damn it.
bring
you
That's
trophy,
insider
please.
trading.
So
That's
rich.
insider trading. I can't do that. I won't do that.
Integrity, please.
Can I
could.
text Steve? Bring trophy, please.
Oh yeah, we got Steve.
Yeah, we got Steve.
Steve, bring the trophy.
It'll
I've got
motivate the
Autumn, too.
boys, you know.
I've got all my PUBG boys who listen to me. So Autumn, Indigo, and Chunga.
Don't I buy power this? Come on, guys.
Come on, come on. It's
All right.
fake currency.
So good. All right, so that
All
was
right.
our first prediction. On to make sure you guys remember how much you spent.
I
And
am
try to.
writing it down.
All right, next question. Prediction number 2. Who will Genji pick up to replace Yeoman? Oh boy.
What?
Objection.
Do
Objection.
we have choices? Why
No.
is
You
it
pick
only
anybody.
Lakia? Is it only Lakia over there?
You could pick yourself. I don't know. It doesn't matter. You can pick anybody. Let's do Quack then, since he's at the bottom. We're going from
Oh my
bottom up.
God.
Who are they picking up?
Dude, I have no clue.
Yeah.
I guess the only thing I can say is like for the memes, Lakia. I don't know. I have no clue at all. Like who is out there?
All right.
3 points, Lakia.
3 points
Question
for
mark?
Lakia.
Question mark? Question mark? That's the.
What's that player's name?
I know they have an academy team, but
That's where my answer was about to come from.
They have they do have it. Okay, well, if you have an idea, blackenBlue, I'll let you go.
I was just gonna say, you know, they lost their initiator. They might want one. They have one on the academy. It's very soon, and I assume the academy, to some extent, is maybe not similar, but like there has to be some DNA there. They're trying to part on to the other side. So maybe. I mean, I'm looking at them. I guess
think
if they need an initiator, Cloudy, then
Cloudy?
yeah,
Cloudy?
probably Cloudy. But then I mean, they have Rain, who's arguably the better player, and he does have tendencies to flex like to a breach every now and then too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna say Rain. I think they're gonna get Rain, just because he's
Rain?
a sharper player and he has potential flexibility anyways. Because he plays duelist every now and then, but he also kind of swaps into a second innie. So maybe they'll want him.
All right. I'll throw my vote down on Cloudy then. I thought it might be another player, but I couldn't remember the player's name. I think it's like Jare or Zere or something.
I'm
like
gonna
that,
put
but-
a total of 2 points on this one because I am not.
question.
I'm
They're gonna,
putting-
confident.
I'm putting
They're
1 point on this. I have no idea actually.
they're gonna put HSK and Solo and Bile into play.
Wow,
God.
throwback.
I'm playing MVP again. 1 point for me, Jwandi, on Cloudy. I have no idea.
All right.
All right, last question coming up. Prediction number 3: will there be a tech pause on the first day of stage 1?
All in.
We
All
did
right,
well. We
Sleepy.
did well in kickoff.
What are you? Yeah, we actually did.
All
Sleepy,
in.
what
Yes.
is your- yes, he's all in on yes. Whatever your remaining points are. 13. Okay. Mika.
You know what? I'm gonna go all in as well. I think we're having a tech pause. It's too good to be true. Then kickoff. Luck has to run out sometime.
Wait,
Yeah.
who's playing on day 1 though? That's my question.
Oh, yeah.
I was
Oh,
gonna
that
ask
is
who's
that is a
casting.
good. That is
Jinx
a good.
factor.
Because there are some teams that are more prone to tech pauses than others.
that's
T1.
Uh-huh.
T1 Zeta first day DFM Global.
Oh, okay.
First match is DFM
Ah,
Global.
Yeah,
Yeah,
first match is DFM Global.
I think it's possible.
Yes, I feel it.
Okay.
I'm gonna earn some cash.
All right. So Mika went yes.
Johnny?
Juani, what are your feelings?
Yeah, I think so. I'm gonna all in.
Yeah, he's all inning on yes.
Okay.
Okie dokes.
Quack.
How many points do I have left? I don't know.
We have 9 left.
9 left. Thank you. Wow, he's doing the math. I'll all in on no. I believe that we did well back then. We're gonna do well again.
I'm gonna all in on yes, just because I just have
13.
that feeling. I think, and it's T1.
It was
So-
too good to be true during kickoff.
Yeah, it really
too good
was.
to be true.
We got way too lucky.
Yeah.
I think yes, but part of me actually kind of wants a tech pause because I have a good bit for one that I've been thinking about. That I'm gonna troll the hell out
He's
of.
gonna be
Achilles
there.
with.
He's gonna trip the wires and cite attack.
You know what? Because maybe, but no. I just want to troll
13,
Achilles
Juandi.
is the real thing. So
Where's your math, bro?
all right, I have 13. Yeah, 13. I spent 7, so 13. Black and blue,
All in, yeah. 10 on yes as well.
10 on yes.
I'm the
Yeah.
only no.
We have You're the only one with any faith.
All right, I continue to have faith.
I respect that, Quack. I respect that.
We'll see.
All right, so those are our predictions. And as usual, the winner will get to come up with a hot take that everybody else has to defend. The loser gets to come up with a interesting "Did you know?" fact, as we saw earlier. So,
And it's gotta
Mika,
top
we'll
the
ping you if we need you to come up with something. So,
All right, sure.
Yes.
I'll send it over to Joanny. Surprise you all.
All right. I think that's gonna do it for now. We definitely had a lot to talk about today. Obviously, with the big win for Pacific, felt like we wanted to really get through all of that.
Gloat.
And gloat for sure. And big thank you to Mika for joining us. Really appreciate
Thank
you
you.
coming through
Hey,
here.
thank you guys for having me.
Yeah,
We're
give us your
joining
insight.
YAP2ASIA.
Yay!
Philippines.
Philippines.
And if you ever see Mika, in the streets or at the Pacific events, just yell
Yeah.
Philippines at her.
Philippines.
Yeah.
Actually, you know how to call the attention of other Filipinos without actually being by being low key. So something we do is say something vulgar, like maybe ass or
Yeah.
penis, but in Filipino, and the only people who are gonna look are
Yeah, when they
Filipino,
turn around,
obviously.
it's like,
The
oh.
direct-
We had good times in Bangkok. Like you, me, Dax as well. You know,
Dax.
bring back the
God, Dax.
Yeah,
yelling
so
it out in the night markets.
Google the words for Filipino genitals, and you say that out loud, and the only people who look, those are the Filipino.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Very good. All right. We're gonna wrap it up next week or next time we record this, whenever that is. We're gonna focus more on China. We want to cover some of that region. Obviously, we'll be in the midst of stage 1, and we can talk a little bit more about what's been going on there, some of the craziness. There's some teams that are loading up with players, which I have some interesting thoughts about that, but that is not here nor there. And I want to go out on this. T1 is not the worst team to ever win an international championship. Just, they are not. Statistically, they are not.
Actually.
I've seen this take out there too many times.
Really?
They weren't even the lowest in round win percentage of a team that won a Masters or a Champions or whatever, and they beat every number 1 seed. So get wrecked. That is my closing thought, and that is going to do it for episode 8 of YAP2ASIA. Thank you so much, everybody. We will be back soon. You can look forward to episode 9 coming your way in a week or two. We'll see ya. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Adieu.